stack depths inside of tournaments and find yourself in really tough spots where you don't know what to do? Well, guess what? I had these exact same issues last night, and I want to make sure that you get the opportunity to go through this exact same issue with me, because I had a huge punt and I had one spot where I had a humongous hand and it just didn't hold. It didn't hold, and it was frustrating, and that's just how it goes. It's just how it goes, guys. But I'm going to bring you the truth about all of everything that you're going to see inside of a tournament that I experienced. But most importantly, I want to take you guys through how I navigated them, how I punted off in a very crucial spot. And I'm still kind of on the fence as to whether or not I would make that play or not. I want you guys to chime in and let me know what you would do in that spot. I probably know the answer. A lot of people wouldn't have done what I did, and I get why. But most importantly, I also want to show you how in a critical spot where we were down to, like, I was on the final table bubble with a middling stack, and I had kings. And I'm just gonna say this: there are times where you can make all the right decisions and poker goes wrong. It just happens. Let's jump into this. Let's jump in. The very first thing that I want to bring to you guys' attention is, first off, yeah, this isn't the tournament I want to take you guys through. I am monitoring chat on my screen over here, so you guys feel free this is live real time, so feel free to make this interactive and ask questions. Well, you can see the result of this tournament. This is the one where I had the punt. I do want to walk through this with you guys. I did put this in chronological order, but there's something I want you guys to understand. We were down. There's something I want to bring focus to. This started. This is a time frame of 7 to 9. This is 2 hours, and I only had 12 critical hands within this time frame. Everything else is pretty much full out. When you're getting over-involved way too much, and you're getting rewarded, it's going to happen one, maybe two tournaments. But pre-flop hand selection is so important. You guys have heard me drill this over and over again. You go to my previous stream and you'll see everything where I start talking through stack depths. I start talking through what hand ranges that you're going to play, what you're going to call, what you're going to 3-bet. Kind of like memorizing and drilling and getting that deep inside of your head, because you're going to be folding a lot in these tournaments. If you're one-tabling, and this is something I highly recommend when you're just starting off, you don't want to start adding in a bunch of tables just because you get bored. It's something I've had an experience with. I'm going to say this. This is the first time I played 6 tables while I'm streaming and felt very locked in and could handle everything that was coming at me. And I've been playing for 25 years. Like, that's going to tell you, it's actually probably even longer. Let me think this through. It's 2024. I started playing No Limit Texas Hold'em in 98, right after the movie Rounders. Man, that's 26 years. Taking this thing serious, though, I would say serious for about 15, but that's been on and off. understand it's taken me that long to get to a point where I feel I can effectively play 6 tables simultaneously and make strong decisions. But I'll also say this, there's always one tournament that gets neglected, man. Oh, almost every time. Anytime I go over 4 tournaments sitting on the table, 1 to 2 of them get seriously neglected. All right, let's jump into this. So, let me see. I know you guys are seeing a little fragment there of the stream window. There we go. All right. So let's maximize this one. Alrighty, guys. So here we are. We've got a. I'm going to bring on and compare this to pre-flop dojo. Let me make sure. I'll just pull it up here so you guys can already see it. I do want to make sure that we are holding ourselves accountable to really wise pre-flop play here, because when you start playing too many damn hands too often, you wind up in this spot where you don't know how to navigate post-flop. Or you get raised off your equity. So here we go, standard 2x. This is weird. Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, this is standard. We don't even have to look this up. So we go 3x. The guy defends. So this flop definitely favors the big blind for straights, for small pocket pairs, for defending with things like even my hand, like ace-6, ace-5, ace-deuce. They have probably all of the 5x and the 6x in their range. They're not going to 3-bet many of those small pocket pairs either. The other thing is they're going to have all of like the 7x, the 8x, the 9x, the 10-8s, things like that. They're going to commingle with this. But the nut advantage, the people are going to wind up hitting the wheels. The people are going to wind up hitting, and I have removal for the wheel, so that's significant here. But the person in this that's going to wind up with most of the nutted diamonds is going to be me. Nutted diamonds. I'm not talking about like they could have 7-8 of diamonds and they ain't going anywhere, obviously. But that's one combo or one pair, one combo. So understand, when you're going to make a c-bet, you have to understand how it interacts with the big blind range and your range, and who has the advantage here. I, in my opinion, have the advantage. And let's see what I wind up doing. They check. I go about, a little bit bigger than a third of the pot. It's a pretty standard c-bet here. We give them a fold, but I just want to explain. We don't have to look this one up. I want to explain what goes through my thought process before I c-bet here. Obviously, this is a semi-bluff. Also, if I don't have that 3 in my hand, let's say this is ace-jack, I might just check this back. Really depends. It kind of depends on the player type. As you see here, this person, they haven't been 3-betting that much. They have been pretty aggressive pre-flop. And that's one of the things that I want to make sure that you guys pay attention to here is what each one of these players, this is voluntarily put money in the pot. You know, this guy was seeing and playing 33% of the hands off of a 9-hand sample. And the fold to a flop C bet, he hadn't folded to one. I wonder if whether or not you probably want in a tournament about 50 hands before you can start determining the kind of way that somebody's going to play against you. But in this spot, this is relevant enough. I don't think that they're going to wind up defending that much. Wow, my C bet percentage is really low. My coach is going to rip my head off for that. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going here. All right. Suited ace, where are we? Looks like we are in the big blind. I jammed here. Okay. So this player, the effective stack is 11. Let's take a look at this. We'll call it 10. Versus an open on the button, the big blind. Oh wow, it likes a mix. So I ripped it, and they like a mix here. Okay. Oh no, I'm suited. Sorry guys. Yeah, this is a pure call. This is a pure call. Why? Well, ace 9, it's a pure call. This is why. Their calling range, or their rejam range, their calling range, the 3-bet jam, includes 9. And it has all of the better aces here. That's the reason why. So this might have been a small error. Here's the thing. Everybody's holding on to, let's see how many times they had raised on the button. One of 8 times. Fairly tight player. So in this configuration, over a 74-hand sample, probably with me in the big blind, they've had an opportunity to raise me 8 times, and they didn't take it. So there you go. Not sure what's going on there, but okay. I have a suspicion. That my Twitch isn't allowing messages. I'm not sure why. Sorry if that's happening, guys. You guys whisper me if that's the case, and let me know. Okay. So this was probably a little wide. Now I understand the spot a little bit better, but I would probably still do it again against this player because we're just in a situation. I want you to notice the numbers. Look at the 3-bet percentages, right? I have a lot higher 3-bet percentage, but if you look, my pre-flop, this person's playing very tight. This person's playing very tight. somebody that has similar numbers to me is limping this pre-flop raise should be very, very close to the voluntary money put in pot. When these start deviating, it means they're flatting bets a lot, which is, it can be a weak characteristic. I am still noticing, man, my C bet is really, really low. I gotta figure out what's going on there. I do have to figure out what's going on there. But when it comes down to it, my VPIP and my pre-flop is ideal. My 3-bet's something I was working on yesterday, and it's one of the major reasons why I had a lot of deep runs. And you don't have to shovel 8 big blinds, 6 big blinds in. Somebody does a 2x, you can go 5x, and it puts them on a defense, especially if you're targeting the bottom of their range. This I'm really happy with. I have, if you look at what happened, the way my chip stack started growing up to here, and then we'll talk about the punt here in a few minutes. Most of this was from just playing, like a lot of this is folding. 102, man, that's a 50,000 chip loss. Where's that one at? I don't even really see it in here. It's probably right around here, right? I bet this is it right here. Let's tag it. I don't know how that didn't make it in, but you know, you want to see nope, I want to go by there you go. Oh wow. Guess what? It's the now that we're looking at it. Josh, it's a really good question, man. How much should a C-bet be? You need to start thinking in buckets. For the most part, a flop C-bet, when it's heads up, needs to be between, I mean, it really depends, dude, but you want to kind of think in value buckets. But you also don't want to tip the strength of your hand. A lot of your nutted hands, like things that you want your opponent to catch up on, you can flat out check. Like, let's say you hit a set of aces on an ace 7 9 board, rainbow. Actually, I mean, I'm trying to get things that don't interact, that don't have the capability of being able to make a straight or a flush. You can check that hand, knowing that as the hand continues to improve, you want your opponent to slightly catch back up. So what you're doing there is you're protecting your check range by checking some of your nutted hands, and then when they go and they stab on the turn, you can start piling some chips in. But you also don't want to always just be checking back. Listen, I was only c-betting 25% of the time right now, which is, it's mind-blowing to me. I have a feeling it's because I multi-way a lot inside of these, so my c-bet range is significantly reduced. But I've noticed that when I'm 3-betting more, I'm going heads up. Your c-bet range should be higher. To actually answer your question, though, and yes, Twitch messages are coming through. You want to be c-betting about I would say anywhere between 33% to half of the pot. There are some small stabs, though, that you can make. I love single big blind betting after a 2x raise and then a flat by either the big blind or another person. I like single big blind raises on really, really nutted hands in air. You'd be surprised at how people way overfold to a big blind. You'll also be surprised when you have a really nutted hand and you put in a single bet where you induce them. A lot of player types in our player pool of small and mid stakes, they wind up trying to come back over the top of you. So in that case where you have a big, huge bet, where you have a big, huge hand and you put in a really small bet, they start piling chips on with, let's just say, less than the nuts, and you can snap them off pretty hard. You induce bet, flat their 3-bet. On the turn, you check again, or if you're in position, you give them opportunity to stab again really big. You can either choose to flat, or if something gets a little dicey with the turn, you just pile the chips in and 3x their bet. But the C bets on the flop need to range in kind of like the value buckets. You look at absolute air and nutted hands, where you want to go one big blind to 30, 33, maybe even half. You can mix how you play with your nutted hands. You want to go about 33% to half pot with things like top pair, a really strong draw, and like you can then also check back your value range, like really, really super strong hands and some of your air too. So that's how I make the decision. I've gotten away from trying to bet too much, trying to quote unquote protect my hand. I usually do more of the bigger betting on the turn when there's only one card to come. A lot of like draws materialize. You wind up seeing and putting yourself in a better position to deny equity on the turn to other people with just one card to come. It chops their percentage of hitting draws or improving in half because there's only one more card left to come. There's not two left to come. So, so many people make the mistake of just trying to pile all of the chips in on the flop. You see the check jam a lot. And I've done this a handful of times this week where I've hit a set and I'm trying to navigate way too aggressively. I do tend to be a little bit more aggressive. I'm trying to temper that down on the flop by navigating the later streets more wisely and not just trying to pile it all in and let variance happen. I hope that makes sense. Let's take a look at this hand here. All right, so very curious. I don't know how this didn't make it in before. Okay, so 20 bigs. Man, this might be. Okay, it is an open. Okay. It is still an open. I remember this hand now. I don't know how I didn't tag this one. This one had me confused. I time banked the entire time bank. So he's defending out of the big blind. Pretty wide, right? The sevens are going to. I hit top pair. We have 2 pair, but the sevens, I'm like he's gonna have a lot of the 7x, 7-8, like 7-8, 6-7. Even some of the hands like a king 7 or queen 7 suited. A lot of stuff like that are gonna show up in his flat range, and I actually went half pot here. I don't hate that play. He snap calls. I want to show you guys what winds up happening though. So this is 100% a check. I can't believe I didn't tag this. I'm glad I went back and found it. This is 100% a check. And this is how when you when you start post flop navigating and you do game tape and you really talk yourself through this. He has all the 6-7s in like 6-7 in his range. So a handful of combinations he might have here, right? He probably isn't showing up with jacks. I don't see him flatting jacks from the big blind. He probably piles it in with my little stack. I don't know much about this person. I'd only played 2 hands with him at this point. I don't know. I don't know what to kind of make of this situation, but I went ahead and risked. Let's look back at this. Something to remember: every time that your 25 big blinds are under, you're at risk. And mind you, this is down to like 3 to 4 tables. So the big money starts going up here. Is ace 10 off? And remember, if I had to check here, it's bottom end of raise range, right? With this being bottom end of raise range, I need to act accordingly with the strength of the absolute strength of the hand versus the range of what I'm up against in the big blind. And yeah, I'm glad we're reviewing this because this is a blunder on my part. This for sure is a blunder. He checks. I don't hate the flop bet. The flop bet I'm good with. This makes sense. I'm protecting the 10. I am getting value out of a moderately strong hand. But when he comes along for the ride and that 6 hits on the turn, I didn't even think about this, but 8-9 just got there. Wow. I did not think this through. I didn't think this through well enough. I simply was like, oh, I've got a 10. I'm going. Guys, at this point, look at the SPR. Like, SPR is damn close to 1, and I'm going to get to a point where a middle strength hand is going to cost me a lot more. Knowing that middle strength hand, crucial stage of the tournament, I'm in position. I'm dictating how to navigate, or am I? So take a look here. He probably got there. This is a check. This is 100% a check. And I have now committed half of my freaking stack to a middle strength hand. And look what he does. He piles it in, and I time bank for forever. He has all 6-7. He has all the 8-9s. He has all of the full houses. He's got all of this. He got pocket 7s. He got pocket 6s. I don't know why I bellyached over this so much. It's so simply a fold. And I committed half of my stack here to a very middling strength hand. This is where little small mistakes compile into very, very large mistakes long term. If you're making mistakes like this over, let's say, I do this in 6 different tournaments, I'm costing myself a lot of this. This is a fold. I can't believe. I wonder if it shows. It shows that I folded it pretty quick. Guys, I bellyached over this. And now that I'm looking back at it, I just did not play well. I did not play that hand well at all. Cool. 2 minutes later. Look at this. But it will also tell you guys, never give up. Sure, you make a mistake. Yep, look at this. I got down to 10 big blinds. I'm in the big blind. Oh, and that's right. This guy just rips into me. I have 10 big blinds. I'm pretty much going to call any pair, any 2 Broadway hand, any ace. Like, this guy has to be careful because you can't bully my stack. I'm kind of at the I don't give a shit phase, and this is what winds up happening. I think he had King Jack or something like that, right? Jack 3, that's what it was. That's what it, like, Jack 3? Yeah, I remember this now. Jack 3 is not a jam against a short stack. You are punting. Like it doesn't matter that you have 70 big blinds. Like, I'm what am I holding on for there, right? Cool. Hey, Mr. West Tennessee Dave. Dave, I want to hear you chime in on this for sure. I have a hand. I have a mistake that I think cost me $1,100, or at least an opportunity at $1,100. Okay, cool. Yeah, so far I'm pretty happy with my play. Just to catch you guys up, this is a $15, $7,000 guarantee tournament. Unfortunately, I had went from, I got to show you guys, I changed my setup here, got a better computer. That is my workstation where I have 4 monitors, 2 computers, but that's the scene you guys are used to seeing. Oops, behind me, right? And now I have this big, huge monitor. Sorry about this. And my laptop over here on the other side. I'm working to improve the experience for you guys here. So I was playing on the other station. And is that cool? There we go. I was playing on the other station, so I only managed to get half of these hands in here. This is down to four down to 2 tables, and then a punt, and we're reviewing it. I just went over a hand that I really shouldn't have played, and then one where somebody made a really big goof. I do want you guys, again, to pay attention here. Like, there are large time gaps in between some of these hands. And remember, this is from 7 to 9. And the only, like, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. 2 hours. That's unlike you, Dave. You're such a you probably err on the side of blinding out more than you err on the side of punting. I have the opposite problem. Somehow you and I need to meet in the middle somewhere. I'm glad that we do these study streams together. But I again want you guys to see over a 2-hour period, there's only 13 hands of significance. But if you look at the stack, like it does go up relatively. You're not going to like over blind out. This has a really, really That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. Listen, I'm going to share this with you guys too. Like, the reason why I have glorious punts is the same reason why I win tournaments. Like, I'm not scared, period. Like, I'm just not scared. Like, I'm scared if something happens to one of my kids. I'm not scared if I goof up in a poker tournament. I can always reboot another one. Now, this punt here, knowing that this person does not have the range to call and isn't as strong as he needs to be to call, they have to know that too. Anyway, let's jump back in. Dave, you always get me distracted, dude. All right. So yeah, we smashed that guy. And oh, cool. So so in going through this, guys, something since I've been working with Jordan Drummond and the BBZ coaching team, I didn't really have a lot of like the suited kings and the suited queens as like any suited kings and suited queens in my raise range. But if you really look here, what is this? Let's say we're not going to look at 7x. We're going to use the effective stack as 20x. This is not a raise. Oh no, here it is on the button. It should be a raise. Okay, look at what these suited Broadway hands get up to when you have 20 bigs. And here, like, I probably, it's weird. I was probably folding out this stuff. This stuff here, I was folding out. But you would see me raise with, like, these here on the button because there's more capability of making, like, straights. Or, I am cut off, thank you. There you go. Damn it, Dave. Dave gets me every time. Look at this. It's allegedly not a raise, but I raised anyway. Here's something to remember. I know that against this guy's jam range, that King 4 is probably either a flip or slightly ahead. And I know I made that decision here. It actually shows as a fold, but he calls. So here's the thing: if he jams on me, yeah, no, I would still raise King 4 despite what this says. Tell you what happens. Look, if we put the effective stack in there, I bet it tells me that King 4 is a jam. It does not. That's crazy. Okay. I'm actually surprised. Anyway, I'm invoking Jordan Drummond, and I guarantee that it probably needs to be King 5 because 5s have straights and it commingles with other hands. Anyway, I talked myself into doing this anyway. There's two things going on here. This is another thing that while I have studied, while I've been also studying GTO, I used to never stab these 3 to a flush pots without a heart in my hand, ever. Yeah, it could be a mistake with that. The thing is, he shovels it in. What would I do if he shoveled it in? No, I fold. I have too susceptible of a stack, but at the same time, even at 20 big blinds, I want to say I was still in, we're probably down to like 40 people, maybe 30 people at this point. With 20 big blinds, I was right in the middle of the field, knowing that I could make a run. So it's more important to preserve your capability of potentially doubling up with a better hand and keeping around that middle stack than taking a super marginal spot and getting down to 15 or 10 big blinds. Like, you have to remember like that kind of stack management. The other thing is, with 20 big blinds, I have fold equity, a lot of fold equity against these guys with 30, even this guy. Remember, he's the one that doubled me up just not but 2 hands ago. So I c-bet here, and I actually wound up c-betting pretty big. I have all of the ace X. I have all of the wheel draw things. I have all of the king X of hearts, queen X of hearts, jack X of hearts. No, in my range. He has a lot less of that. He has more of the combos like, he's not going to defend with 2, 3, and 7 big blinds. He's just not going to fucking do it. So the only hands that he's going to wind up defending with are going to be things like pocket pairs and even like a king jack off. King queen, he might wind up jamming with. King queen off, he might not. Looking at this guy's statistics, he's a pretty solid player making decisions. But start to hand, he only had 9 big blinds, and he has the potential. Again, he's in the same situation. He doubles up. He's in the middle of the field, and again, there's $1,100 on top of this tournament. We're playing for the gold. Who's in the hand? Small blind? No, it's the big blind. I am the button. I am the button, dude. Yeah, I'm the button. I was right. I was right. Yeah. Dave, you mess with me here. So King 4 is a raise, and it is in the range. So okay. Anyway, yeah, he's in the big blind. Cool. I'm not losing my mind. All right, we've killed that hand. Let's keep navigating through this tournament. Where are we at? Oh, I remember this one too. So I have to say, like, listen, you don't always get great hands. Okay. Well, I'll say it. You don't always get great hands in tournaments. Like, you don't. I was fortunate in this tournament in particular to have a lot of really good hands in a very short period of time. You can absolutely waste yourself by overplaying some of these hands and just barreling through and going crazy. So you have to make sure that you know how to navigate these. This is not just... No Limit Hold'em used to be just a pure pre-flop game, and it's just not that anymore, guys. It really isn't. So we have 10s here. It's like a full blind rotation later. Am I in the big blind? Nope. Okay. I am in later. I'm in early position. I mean, 10s are always an open there. Effective stack, 20 bigs. We'll call it 20 bigs. Just remember, and I'm doing this so you guys can see this here too. Yep. Yes. It also gets you in the most trouble too. I'm still getting myself into and punting off a lot of equity right now in blind play. Anyway. Oops. Dave, I always appreciate you coming on and being very interactive. From the depth of my heart, man. From the depth of my heart. There we go. Now I can see the chat. I got the chat up over here on the right. So here's the thing. Here's another flop that's probably going to favor the defender in the big blind. He's going to have a lot of the 5x, but by the same token, I have a lot of the king x, and because I'm raising from under the gun, my range is going to be really strong. At least it should be. Take a look at what my range should be. And if you start looking at some of my king x here, I have, in my range, I have a lot of these. So when people start talking about, okay, what's my range versus their range, their big blind defense here, if we start looking at what kind of 5x that they have, where are the 5s? Their big blind defense range shouldn't be, and this guy's about on par with this. 2-5 suited. I don't even think I defended with 2-5 suited. Like they really only have 6-5, 5-5. There's not many combos of 5x that they're gonna have here. They're gonna have like the ace-5 suiteds. They're gonna have like ace-5 off, but a lot of their 5x range here, it's just not gonna be there. What if we take them up to 50 bigs, which is actually what they have? Like it doesn't really change. So understand from you're up against a really strong range from under the gun. It is very plausible that I have a lot of king x in my range. This is why I c-bet here. I do want to pay, once you guys pay attention, he defends. He defends here. I remember, I remember I went, shit. Like, is he laying a trap for me? What would be his backdoor draws that he could come in with? Maybe he defended with some kind of like king junky hand. Maybe he's got like the queen 5s, and then the 6 came on the turn. I'm like, you know what? Let's check it back. I need to make a decision. We have a smaller pot now. I'm probably going to have to make a decision for him to put me in a tough situation here on the river with a bet because I'm checking the turn. This happens a lot, and these are narratives that you have to have that go through your head. Man, thank God I am doing this the very next day because I remember a lot of this very vividly. And mind you, I still had 5 other tables going on, and 2 of them I was down to the final tables, or down to the final 2 tables in 2 of them. So here, I wanted to get there a little cheaper, right? And I went ahead. Now instead of like piling a bunch of chips in there, I have now controlled the pot where, you know, I mean, look at stack to pot ratio. I mean, that's almost double. I have double what is sitting in the pot. So I had to make a decision. He winds up, we go, I kind of gave it away. He checked, and I remember time banking for a minute, and I go, here's my old cash game me versus my online MTT me. Cash game me is going through for a thin fucking value bet. In this, because this ran out in a way where the range and nut advantage way favored his range over mine, I do not want to open the pot back up, or the pot back up to, or the betting back up to him being able to push me off my equity. I'm pretty sure my 10s are going to be good, but if they're not, I don't want to put myself into a blender. And so I was very surprised at what he showed. I don't know what he's continuing with. The only thing that makes sense here is that he was looking to hit one of these cards. And I had a coach at one point in time named Alex Fitzgerald. For those of you that don't know, he was a crusher about 20 years ago. and now he's primarily a coach. Keeps up with the game, plays a lot online, but he's more mid stakes, mid to lower high stakes of a player. He really recommends putting in that turn bet when somebody just flats you, because you're going to fold out hands like the big suited cards that are trying to hit another card. That's another thing that was a consideration inside of my head, and you see this play out a lot. People calling on the flop with either overs to the 2 pair, looking to get lucky. Now, if this guy has 2 hearts in his hand, and if he has 2 clubs in his hand, especially that ace of clubs, this is 100% a continue, because you can improve significantly. He has the opposite cards that are sitting out here. I don't hate the flop call. Like, I don't hate it. It's just not the smartest. And this is a leak on their part that I want to make sure that you guys aren't making if you're in his position. I probably just kind of fold out there. Now, in his spot, as you see, I was doing a lot more 3-betting. I might stick in with his stack. I might stick in a 5x pre-flop 3-bet. Remember, we're seeing I've got a stack that can cut him in half. He's the reason why I'm even in this is because he doubled me through. If I'm in his spot, I put in a little 5 to 5.5x 3-bet with ace jack suited, targeting, what was this, 23. I'm going to target the bottom end of my range is going to be suited aces up to ace 10. Man, I've started kicking 7s out. 8s, and some of these, like queen jack suited, king 10 suited, king jack suited, I'm going to target this range here with a 3-bet here, because you're probably going to get most of this to fold out. I'm in position, so I'm going to continue and define my hand. He might get me to fold out these 10s. Jacks, I'm not going anywhere. Jacks, I'm probably shipping it. Jacks plus, what am I shipping on him? Guys, I'm only shipping this. I'm only shipping queens like this. This is the only. I'm shipping jacks against him, by the way. But these are continues. I'm not continuing with this shit. I'm not continuing here either. I'm probably folding these 2 out. I'm mix. You're mix on a jam or a call. I don't know. Tens would probably be tough for me, but I'm probably continuing with jacks, probably shipping it. Like, the 3-bet, this is an opportunity for him to 3-bet. He wasn't 3-betting enough. He should have 3-bet this spot. 100%. Targeting that bottom end of range that I had. Let's keep going, guys. Okay. The worst starting hand in all of poker, Ace King, is here. Where are we? All right, we're in the big blind. Let's take a look at this. So middle position raises. Middle position raises against me, and I ship it on that ass. Big and bold. Ain't scared. Ain't scared. Let's call him MP. The effective stacks are, we'll call them 25x. versus an open. He's MP. I am in the big blind. Ace king off. Okay, cool. It's a mix. It's 53% jam. And it is 47% raise. Dave, with 50 big blinds and 5.5, a 5.5x 3-bet there is going to it literally is going to define my hand. 3-betting is the new pre-flop raise, dude. Like, it just is, dude. It is. People are playing a little too wide and a little too aggressive, and we want to start targeting their bottom end of range. And we don't have to make these huge 3-bets. In fact, I'll tell you what. Ace king suited, out of position. Yeah, this is 100% ICM. This is 100% ICM, dude. We're down to at this point. Let me see how many hands I had left. At 8 o'clock, and I'm busted. I busted in 14th. Yeah, dude. There were 500 people, and we're down to the final 3 tables now. Yeah, for sure. This is probably even the final 2 tables. Yeah, final 2 tables. I had 500 people, and we're down to the final 18 to 20 people. Anyway, sorry. Man, this is a jam. I like the jam. Take into consideration, what is his raise range at 25 big blinds under the gun? What we are doing is we are targeting all of this stuff. He might even have, yeah, me too. I hate ace king. I don't want to play it post flop. Be honest. We're targeting, like, really look at this. We're targeting all of this to fold out, right? Which only leaves him with this that he can call. I don't even, dude, I'm not calling with 10s, man. I'm probably not calling with 10s. Jacks are probably a tank. Fuck, it depends on whether or not I'm tilting and how I'm feeling at the time. But, dude, there's no way I call ace jack suited. Ace queen suited. I know in these spots, like, I hate calling with ace queen suited, but I probably fold it out if I was him. So look at, this is his raise range. It's all in the gray. We can probably lump in these hands. This hand ain't calling. This hand probably is this guy in particular, probably not. He has pretty good statistics. How many? We only have 24 hands of data against him. He's good at raising the button. Fold to a 3-bet after raising. There was only one other instance where he wound up folding out. I don't have enough data to figure out whether or not he had folded that or not. But looking at it, like, this is a fold for him. Man, I wish you could keep statistics on people on Ignition. This is where it's a very big difference between playing on Bet Online and America's Card Room, where you can pool a database together against players, and this. Which reminds me, man, I ran super deep in 3 different tournaments on ACR yesterday, and 2 of the 3, one I didn't even punt. One of them was just one of those marginal hands I probably could have gotten away from. I remember this one on replay. So, guys, premium hands are supposed to play themselves. They're supposed to play themselves. And when they don't, when you lose, you whine, bitch, and complain about it. When you win, you don't really remember it that much, but you sure remember a lot more when you lose because you have that negative bias bullshit that goes on in your head. What do we want to do here? We have the Cowboys. Man, I went straight funny guy with this one. Look at what's happened here. God, I did so much work to get to this point. I'm having revisionist PTSD right now, guys. So here's the thing, and a lot of people just ship this, and I am never flatting here, Dave. I am 100% never flatting. I'm just not, dude. I am going to put into this range Ace 5 suited, King 10 suited, Ace. Let's see what this has, and I'm going to show you some of the raise ranges. So what is this? Let's call it 22. We don't have it. We're going to call it 20 big blinds as an effective stack. Yep. Yeah, look. These are some of the things that you have to consider. Never 3-bet, never 3-bet, never 3-bet. So what you have to understand is that this guy's, thank God, man, I went from a 25% C-bet range to 45%. This is what happens when you get later in the tournaments. You're not facing multi-way pots. My C-bet percentage was way low because earlier in the tournament, we were like 4 and 5 people to every flop, and it was really hard to navigate. Like it would get very frustrating to navigate. You would expect more from a $15 7K guarantee tournament, but people were looking to spin it up and spin it up pretty fast. But this one had a long, slow structure. This one really favored somebody like me to be able to be selectively aggressive. I actually prefer longer, slower structures. I do a lot better at them. It takes me back to times when I used to print in long, slow, structured multi-table tournaments live when I was playing professionally and semi-professionally. Those long, slow structures, I'm just very, very good at. I'm also very good at the rebuy structures with deep pockets. When I have a very good bankroll, I'm good at spinning both of those up. Anyway, here, understand, I'm on the button. It's versus an open, 20 big blinds, 20%. What? Yeah, he is in, let's just call it, I guess that's a low jack, yeah. So it's cut off, high jack, low jack. He's in the low jack. Yeah, I figured as much. FYI, Dave, I've been messing around with GTO Wizard myself. I have gotten rid of all pre-flop dojo I love, but GTO Wizard has taken over for DTO and my solvers. Looking at this, guys, and hey, this is not just the Dave and West Tennessee Cowboy and the Tiburon show, guys. This isn't just us. I want you guys to chime in here. If you've got questions or you have an opinion, chime in. So if we're looking at what Preflop Dojo wants to do here, it's a raise 100% of the time. I don't like a flat. even if I have a 3-better here, I don't like a flat. I'll let this guy who's a 3-better try to jam. I'll let him straight up jam. Who's the other 3-better here? Okay, this guy. I bet he does not have any. Sorry, let me pull this up so it doesn't go off screen. I bet he doesn't have any non-nutted. He has one of 3 times that he got 3-bet where he raised a 3-bet. One time off of 62 hands, but take that into consideration. Take that into consideration, guys. 1. So 3-betting is going to define a lot of other people's range. They're going to defend against their perception. A lot of times they're going to defend against their perception of what their 3-bet range should be. Most of the time, it's not against what their perception of your 3-bet ranges, and this is going to come into play a little bit later. This also gives this guy the opportunity. Remember, I'm table captain. I have managed to kind of smack this guy down. He's doubled me through, and suddenly he's created the shark monster at the table. I'm also giving this guy an opportunity because I'm the guy that's table captain, and 15% of the time I'm in there 3-betting, and probably have done it against this guy. I'm giving this guy the opportunity to do this. Me jamming does not guarantee that he's going to jam. It just doesn't. But I want this. And I see this as a mistake so often at small stakes. Not thinking through the metagame, not understanding. I want it to look like I'm either trying to steal. I will say this though, those smaller 3-bet ranges or those smaller 3-bet sizings they start to get tough to navigate. They do. All right. Sorry, I had to respond to somebody. Somebody's in Discord and they asked me a question. Like, how do you know how much to 3-bet when? How do you know how much to 3-bet? Question mark. Does it depend on your stack size, the opponent's stack size, or your hand strength? Okay. Great question. So, listen. I'm going to I will probably 3-bet ace-5 suited. I will probably wind up 3-betting. I'll wind up 3-betting 10s, jacks, queens. I have even started 3-betting things like King 7 through King 5 suited. I really like in this spot with 25 bigs or more 3-betting almost any suited ace too. I kind of stay away from. I don't like. Yeah, I agree. Stack size is most important. Stack size and also the opponent. Because there are some people, man. Some people that I have the cyan tags. Yeah. Dave, for you on Discord, has said it's never based on the cards. I think I prefer to have an ace or a king in my hand for the most part, or a pair that I might even take into a call. These hands here, like, you can't just be linear. Linear means to only 3-bet with your huge hands. People are going to exploitatively fold to you. They're going to exploitatively fold. Hey, he only 3-bets his huge hands. He's got kings. I'm folding. Like, that's an exploit that people can get on you. But if you're putting in there a lot of these suited aces, which have some nut potential, if you're putting in some of these king sevens through king five suiteds, you still have a really good chance. You got good board coverage on the bottom end and top end, but most importantly, you're putting in a polarized range that, just in case you have to take it post flop, you have position, you have the capability of being able to make a fairly big hand. You get good board coverage, but at the same time, you're not taking in as much junk. Now, dude, I've started to step away since I've been studying GTO. 2 years ago, I was really polarized. So I was raising 2-6 offsuit here, because what are you going to do with it? Nothing. And if someone jammed, you fold it out. The solver era, the GTO era, is finding doing a lot less of that is more advantageous than throwing in some of these polarized, non-nutted hands, kind of targeting people's lower end of their range. You have some card removal, which is very important when you have a king in your hand, or if you have an ace in your hand, and especially the suited nature of them. But have the potential to interact with the boards better. Sorry. All right. I killed that, but I hope that makes sense. And, of course, we get him to call off with the bottom end of his range. He got tired of getting 3-bet. I don't know how many times I 3-bet him, but a lot of people start getting tired of the table captain doing his thing, and they wind up standing up, and they're like, fuck, man, I haven't had a great hand in 4 hours. This is the greatest hand that I've had. I've had to fold out 10 big blinds, 12 big blinds here. I've raised folded 3 times to this guy 3-betting me. Fuck this guy. I am going to battle with him. He can't have me. And he goes up against kings because of it. Now remember, live by the sword, die by the sword. Just saying. A couple more hands left. All right, guys. Queens! We picked up queens, what? This is 40 minutes later, guys. I did not play a hand of significant note for 40 minutes. I want you guys to understand that. 31 big blinds. Okay. So from that time, I had 31 big blinds to 24. 40 minutes. And we're definitely down to the final 2 tables. And as it looks, we're probably down to the final 17 people. All right. Fuck. Remember, I got 14th in this. And I still had 25 big blinds. My 3-bet went up. Oh, that was probably the kings. All right. So I'm just going to say this. Is that the guy? No, I think this is the guy. I want you guys to now see, look at the percentages here. Now that we're down to the final 2 tables, we do have some of the better players starting to get in here. This guy's got 6% 3-bet range. This guy's got a 6% 3-bet range. This guy has went down to an 8%. He got tired of me. He got tired of me bossing him. But look at this. Dude on the button raising. Pre-flop, V-pip from the button. 37 hands. Not a big hand selection. So probably, I mean, just a couple of rotations. He's only raised one time. This is the second time that he raised from the button. This is all relevant. The data is backing up the read, but he's been active, but he's been flatting a lot. So basically, he's not super aggressive, but what he is playing a lot of hands and flatting a lot. And as you see, my voluntarily put in pot and pre-flop raise is very similar matched. And oddly enough, my 3-bet percentage to my voluntarily put in pot is super close. C-bet percentage still down pretty low. This guy's C-betting in the range. He probably could even take it up to 80%. Same with this guy. Yeah, leak I need to work on. What do you guys want to do here? Do you want to shovel it in? Or you want to? Do you want to raise? Do you want to jam? Mind you, this is queens. This is queens. Flip against ace king. Dominated by aces. Dominated by flip against ace king. Probably not going to be up against ace queen. It's only going to dominate some of the ace hands like the ace jacks, ace tens, but even then they still have those 3 outs. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to jam? Do you want to 3-bet small, or do you want to flat? What do you want to do? Somebody other than Dave. Fat Fire, are you on? Josh, are you on? I like ripping it here. I like ripping it here. Yeah. And we get a fold. I marked this because I wanted to look at how often we're ripping it with queens. So it is, this does not like ripping it. This likes 3-betting. I probably should have done that because it's a lot easier to navigate post flop with some of these larger hands. Just remember, against jacks 50% of the time, an over is going to hit the flop. Yeah, but they like flatting here. Josh, if you're watching, that's one of those issues, right? But queens, you're going to look at right at about 35 to 40% of the time an over is going to hit an ace or a king, right? 35 to 40% is not that much, but it's more like 35% of the time. So that means 65% of the time you're going to be way ahead. A small 3-bet here to win a little bit more and navigate post flop, a lot better to do. I could have gotten more money out of that one, probably. I did not show this one, and we navigated this one post flop. I like it, and we're going to talk this one through. Looks like I actually wound up having and navigating a lot of post flop. Okay, so I think I'm the button. Am I the button or am I the small? No, I'm the small blind. Okay. Dave, you're right, dude. It should be to the right of the person. And this shows that I'm in the small blind. Let's look at this. Okay. All right. Guess what, guys? Now I remember this. This is the guy. Oh, fuck. This is the guy that I punished, and his statistics started coming into play. This is the guy that I went to battle with in. He wound up winning the damn tournament too, and yeah, fuck this guy. Anyway, sorry. So he limped here, and I'm thinking I've 3-bet him 3 times. I've shoved on him twice, by the way, 2 times, by the way. One of them I missed. Probably because I don't know why I didn't tag it. It was an ace X hand. Probably ace 10 if I'm not mistaken. This guy is getting punished by me often. And he now has elicited a limp strategy. And I'm like, oh shit. He's probably limping in something pretty damn big. You know, like an ace-king hand, kings, aces, something along those lines. And when he shifted strategies, it messed with me a little bit. And I remember, see, he's now let in. I'm in a weird position in the small blind. He limps in. He could have anything. He's uncapped with his range, and it's hard to put on range. And he lets in the big blind as well. And the big blind, like, this is all over the big blind's range. It's merging with my range, and it's merging with his. So the limp, taking your hand, a big hand, let's just say it's a big hand, and you're taking it three ways. Let's say he has aces here with no spade, no club, and no spade. He has two red aces. Dude, are you good? Did you just let 10-9 in? I have all the straights here. He has all the straights here. I didn't like that I didn't have a club in my hand. So I'm pretty sure I checked. Check. He c-bets huge. And I'm looking at it. I remember looking at this going, yeah, he's got to have fucking aces, man. And then I'm like, why does he have to have aces? What would he limp and then just shovel in really big? Like, this doesn't make sense. And then it dawned on me. I'm like, I bet this guy has something like 9s or 10s. Or like a king-jack hand. And he doesn't know what the hell to do. So I'm like, I'm going to outplay him post-flop. Let's see what happens. I can't lie. He's got me covered. I contemplated folding with such a big bet. And I'm like, you know what? I think I can outplay him. So I call. That's a big-ass bet, too. And it represents a fairly large portion of both of our stacks. We're also going to wind up... this guy could wind up shoveling it all in, and we're both having to fold. I probably won't fold if he shovels it in. I don't think that I can. If he jammed on me, I would have to probably... Like, I would crying fold. So, I'm just convinced at this point he's got aces, 10s. He doesn't have jacks. He probably doesn't have queens, but I'm considering aces, kings, 10s, 9s. Or a hand like king jack. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Pay attention, because this hand sets up my bust out hand. I want you guys to just pay attention to this. So I check again, and he checks back. I immediately know he probably doesn't have queen X, or jack X. So I start narrowing down his range because of the way he's playing. That 8, I have all the 8s in my range here. It's scary as shit for him. I could have all the 7-8s. I have all of, like, let's say, ace 8s, queen 8s. Potentially he could still have king jack here. Potentially he could still have ace jack here. I hate the limp. I hate how uncapped his range gets, but it also uncaps my range because I only had to call half a big blind to get in here and called a big flop c-bet. So he's shitting in his britches right now, but I'm navigating carefully just in case I'm up against aces, knowing I'm probably not going to get him to fold out aces. Aces or kings. But I was pretty sure. So I'm going to tell you guys what I'm thinking here. I have no club in my hand. I actually believe he does not have a club at all. I go super thin on value. and I blocker bet at the same time. Dave, you can roast me for this all that you want to, but just remember, I love this bet here. This bet is going to get value from 10s and 9s. This bet is going to get value. It's going to at least put in his head, okay, I can't 3-bet here because this dude has all the straights. He played it almost like a draw. The flush gets there. If his flush gets there, that 3 big blind bet, he's just going to pile it in. I'm going to fold relatively cheaply for something where I had top pair and I navigated this. And like I absolutely loved the way that I played this, but this guy's getting angry at me, and he folds out. He folds out. I am almost convinced he had a 10 in his hand somehow. He could have even had Jack 10 here, and Jack 10 makes sense. It's not likely, but definitely didn't have 10-9. Probably had 10s or 9s. Aces and kings don't fold there. I knew on that check on the turn, he no longer had aces or kings. Like I just knew. So that puts him into a very narrow value range, or a very narrow bucket, and he just couldn't call. I probably semi-bluffed with the best hand, and he just couldn't call. And this guy is now angry at this point, and I have a pretty damn big stack now. I have moved into the top 6 with 2 tables left. And that's very relevant, friends. It is super relevant. So, mind you, this is one hand later. Basically, one hand later on the button, and I'm table captaining it up. This is where you have to learn how to shift gears in poker. I get it on the button. I 100% know that this is not a raise hand. It probably isn't a raise hand. 25x, big blind. Yeah, there you go. Oops, nope. 9-7 off. Not in there, but these two have played. This is exploit of understanding player types. Guys, 26 hands and this guy's played 4%. It's probably, what is that? That's probably one hand, right? 26 hands. This guy's played 16% and only raised 4% of the time, so he's flatted everything. They are playing scared money here with 9-7 is a raise against these people. Period. It's going to cost me nothing to try to win. To add 10% to my stack. Is that 10%? Okay. He flatted. He flatted here. I have a heart in my hand, which takes out one of the potential 9. So there's only eight hearts remaining, right? Knowing that, I also have backdoors. So we had the backdoor straight, backdoor flush. I can hit a straight, right? What would it have to happen? 10 jack? Yeah. 10 jack, run out. And I was asked, how do you determine how big you c-bet? Sorry. How do you determine how big you c-bet? How do you determine what flops you're going to c-bet? I have all the ace X of hearts. I have all of the jack 10s. I have all of the continue pairs, like 9s and 10s. This board really favors me way over him. Sure, he's going to wind up defending with, let's say, the jack 10s. Let's look at his range that he would defend with. 16 big blinds. Let's go effective stack. It's a little bit bigger than I thought. But he's take out the purple, because he's going to wind up shipping it on me with those. That's crazy that these pairs Ship it. So where does that put him? It actually kind of puts him... yeah, most of the ace-x suiteds should be jamming against me here, right? So we can remove those, but RFI from the button with the effective stack. I mean, it shows me. Yeah, that's why I kind of like my stack. I still, mine versus his range is weighted heavily towards more of the nuts and more of those the hands. Like he can get like the 6-5s in here, stuff like that. This felt like a pretty easy c-bet candidate to me. And I didn't have to go that big. It represented what is that? That c-bet represents 12, 13%, 14% of his stack. He's going to have to make a really strong decision if he wants to continue. That c-bet cost me almost nothing. I'll only have to be right, what is that, 25% of the time for me to print money. That's why I c-bet here. All right. Guys, Dave, I hope you're here. This is the most painful fucking hand I have played in a very, very long time. I knew relatively what my opponent had and what he didn't have. I replayed this hand last night. I replayed it on stream. And I replayed it in... I replayed it in my head and replayed it this morning before we got on stream. This is painful. Hang on. Do we have something coming in from Discord? Okay. Okay, guys. I am, number one, I'm first in chips here. Number two, I'm fourth in the tournament at this point. Between this hand and this hand, it's been, what was that? I was on the button. It's only been two hands. It's only been two hands. I get a pretty strong hand. My percentages here are still decent. So here's the thing. We have button, small blind, big blind. He's under the gun and he fucking limps again. It didn't work out for him last time. He limped. This time I've got position on him, right? There's no way I'm letting a limp hand in. I actually made a mistake and went 5x. I meant to go 4.5. I meant to go 4 to 4.5. And it's relevant because I've just committed. What is that? Fucking of 30 big blinds. I've basically committed 20% of my stack off of a raise. 30%. What is 5 of 30? 5%? Anyway, a significant chunk of my stack has been committed. That's 20%. Yeah, 20% of my stack into this pot. But it's still leaving me with enough behind. I did this to define his range. This guy might 3-bet. He's 3-bet a little bit in 74 hands, but it's pretty polarized to me. This guy has a potential of jamming it in. His numbers more mimic my numbers, and he's newly moved here, but he's been pretty quiet at our table. It doesn't his numbers don't represent the way he's played. And yeah, like the people I have to go through, like intent on laddering up, wild card. Fuck this guy. So I 3-bet. We get back to him, and he flats. So at this point, I put him on suited ace-x. I put him on 2 Broadway cards. Like, he's going to continue. This guy is going to continue with pairs of, I'm going to say, 9s plus. He's going to continue with hands like King Broadways plus. So it's relevant, right? The flop comes out. King, 9, King. This flop, his under the gun flat of a 3-bet, it's a pretty strong move. And I 3-bet. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play this like ace fucking king. Like, it's just, I have ace king. I have ace king. Here's the thing. I'm going to 3-bet here with jacks, queens, kings, aces. Probably, maybe 10s. King, queen suited, I definitely would do here with my stack against him. And the more I'm weighing this out, I realize he's probably not calling off a 3-bet with king, jack, king, queen. The likelihood of me having that, ace king is 100% in his range. Kings and aces, like the likelihood of him having kings is very, very low because there's 2 out there on the board. So it leaves him with 1 combo. And I mean, that's it. He can have 1 combo of kings, and he can have. He's not going to call with 9s. I don't think he's continuing with that big of a 3-bet, committing basically the same amount of chips to his stack. He's basically saying, hey, I got a hand I'm going to continue with. Okay, let's do this. Since I 3-bet, my intention is, hey, I've got ace-king, or I have overpair. I have aces, or I have queens. Like, it just, I committed to playing it like that and said, fuck this guy. He checks, and I go 1/3 pot. I down bet, making it look like I'm trying to get value in it. That's a big bet, but it's a down bet from my 3-bet. So he calls. He just calls. When the 2 comes on the turn, him having, like, I don't remove or block diamonds, no way he continues with the 2. I also know dude does not have a king. He doesn't have a king. He doesn't have a king. He doesn't have a king in his range. It just, outside of ace king, which I block ace king, I block, he could only be continuing with something like 10s, jacks, queens. And I'm like, that's the only thing that really makes sense. He might have ace X of diamonds. So you can start putting in ace queen. You can start putting in, I don't see him doing this with ace jack. He's just got such a narrow range at this point. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this guy. I'm going to put him into a blender. I know he can't call. I know he can't call here. Like, he checks, and I jam. And he tanks forever. Like, it is time bank. I'm like, yes, dude, I'm going to get him to fold. Look at this fucking guy. That's not what happened. That was a time bank. My read was 100% on. He didn't even continue with fucking diamonds. Like, this was insane call. I can jam there. He can't call. I'm pissed. I'm angry. Do I wish I had this one back? I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. I don't know how he... Like, you can't make that call. For me to be able to narrow it all the way down, forget my cards. For me to narrow this down and understand what he's probably continuing with, and to nail it and be right, and he calls... I don't do this with much air. He's literally up against, like, tens do this, jacks do this, queens do this, king X, which I have, ace king. How he doesn't put me on ace king here is bananas. This is a terrible call gone right. I'm maybe I'm leveling myself here. But this cost me. This dude won the tournament. He goes on to win the tournament. And I'm out in 14th place for 60 something bucks off of a $15 buy-in. It cost myself 1,100 bucks. I don't know what to say. Like, I genuinely just don't know what to say and how to continue with that. I won't. I'll take it to my team. As you can see, it was. I was fourth in chips, punted off. He catapulted up to $1 million in a couple of hands later. First person to $1 million in the tournament. He holds on, wins the fucking tournament. I'm out with nothing but hopes and dreams in my hand. And this is the bust out hand here. I hit the 6 and I was elated. And he flips it. Fuck it. I'm like, how does he have a fucking set? How did I not double up here? I want to be transparent too. I want to be transparent. This is the reason why I have loaded up not that tournament. It's the other one. Wait, it was a... I think this is it. This is it. I want to make sure that you guys understand, going back to this, this is another tournament that had happened probably about 20 minutes, maybe a little bit earlier, maybe 30 minutes before this happened. We had gotten down to, and I just want you guys to pay attention. So this is an hour and a half. Okay, so this is 30 minutes before. I was in a space from something that had happened 30 minutes before. When you have long days, when you're putting a lot of time and energy into a lot of tournaments and things happen, you have a tendency to play a little bit more on towards emotions if you're not putting yourself in check and having those better conversations with yourself. I mean, you can see I, again, was playing pretty aggressive. I tagged a lot of these. Let's go to... I just want to play a couple of these for you to understand. You know, this is a small blind defend. What do I have? I have 24 big blinds. Of course I have 5x with ace 10. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yep. Dave, let me come back to that in a sec. It was It was a diamond and it was a 2. So see here, this is big blind. Small blind versus big. Did I raise? Nope, I flatted. Okay. Oh, I remember this one too. On the turn, 4x. It was 4x on the turn. And then jammed. Basically, I had a pot-sized bet left. So did he. I 4x on the flop. And then he checked and I jammed the turn, knowing he couldn't call. I just narrowed down his hand. I really narrowed down his hand with to a draw or him trying to play with overs. I knew aces and kings just weren't there. Sure, it was in his range, but he would have played it differently. And I was fucking right, and somehow he found a stupid ass hero call. Like, that call on his part was terrible. Like, if the positions were flipped, it's an easy fold for me. Him jamming, it's such an easy fold for me. I found the one guy that's going to hero call ace queen in probably the entire tournament. And probably, 5% of the population of poker players that call there, I found the one person that did. I want to show you guys. I was 6th. No. I was 4th in chips. We're down to 9 people. Final table is 8. This is a 2K guarantee, $5 rebuy on Bet Online. This hand happened 30 minutes before, and you can catch it on stream. I'm talking through this, and I'm literally like, it was super shallow. This person had been giving me fits. They had a 2-1 chip lead, not but one table before. They could not freaking fold anything. They could not, like, they're playing wild and very poor. Like, I had them during the rebuy period too. They actually wound up doubling me once in the rebuy period. They were a poor player. So I had to navigate cautiously. And if you look, my numbers reflect what they should. 12% 3-bet, 21% VPIP. This needs to be anywhere between 20 to 25. Your pre-flop raise should be anywhere between, it should be like 15 to 22. 15, you could even, if it's 25-25, you're good. 3-bet's fine. C-bet is a lot better. Doing a lot better here. 100% folding to a continuation bet. I'm folding 100% of the time to a continuation bet. So are they. But it's 3 out of 3 times. They're playing super, super tight. So this is relevant. I 2x'd here. The intention was to get one of these two to jam. Like, that's the whole point of just going min raise. I did not shovel it in so they could make the blunder here, not me. And this fucking guy jams it all in, and it's a snap call for me. I see the ace. I'm like, fuck, I'm dead. And he did this with fours, and man, I'm realizing this did influence the way I was feeling. I'm having a real hard time navigating Bet Online. So a lot of you guys think Global and Ignition are very bad. I honestly believe that Bet Online, I take more beats where like really big hands don't hold, and I have been punished repeatedly in these spots, and I'm not sure why. This is the first time I've navigated deep enough to get out of, man, I've probably lost about $500 on this stupid site. And I don't, the blind structure, the tournament structure doesn't favor my play, and I haven't, yeah, you too. BX Sickest, hey, don't forget to give us a follow here, but what's your screen name? Or do I know you? Do I know you on from anywhere? What's your screen name on Bet Online? You can't even log in. From Tennessee? My nuts are huge. I know exactly who you are. Yeah, you can't stream them, Dave. So I think they've done something that doesn't allow bots to attach to their tables. I don't know how they do it. I think Global and ACR should do the exact same thing. Problem is, if the bots can't attach, neither can the stream software. So I couldn't show this. So you guys didn't have you had the opportunity to see me go through the motions and call this out real time. But this happened and this influenced me. And this is something, like the whole theory and thought behind this video. And I know we're running on, how long have I been live? It's been some time here. It's been almost 2 hours. Oh, you can't get them to pop up? Got it. Might be a permissions thing. It drives me nuts that I can't attach my my Streamlabs to it. It's super important to move on from hands. Scream if you need to. Get it out. Get upset. You know, it's funny because if this happened live, this is the bust out hand of the night, right? You look over and it's like, really, dude, fours? Like, man, you tried to double me and somehow, some way, the poker gods just didn't bless me. Good hand, man. Like, that's what you would say and you would walk off. But online, you take this hit, right? And then you take another hit. And then you take another hit. And you can start to accumulate these into revenge tilt. You can accumulate these into passive tilt. You can put these into table captain tilt. And I tend to steer towards the side. I don't get nitty. I tend to start to get a little more aggressive. And again, it's where I am looking to make up losses that we had gotten in cash games, but I can't use these things as an excuse anymore. And I don't want you guys using these as an excuse anymore. I want to showcase where I'm punting. I want to showcase where I've gotten super deep, cost myself some money, and then explain through how to overcome it and work through it. One of the best tools that I use is meditating before. I use Elliot Rose Prime Mind. I am going to start doing and having, like I rush on those 5-minute breaks from here to pee or grab something to like munch on real quick. And I don't reset my mind And I'm going to start doing that. Going into this, I swear, you can go back and look at the stream. I did this. I go, all right, here we go, man. We got kings, but I can't tell you how many times in this spot I wind up not holding on Bet Online. But you know what? Screw that. I'm not putting that energy out there. We got kings. We got this. We're going to wind up winning this tournament. Let's go. I said that because I caught myself going to the negative and attracting that negative energy in. This happened, and like I got sick to my stomach. You know, I throw my hands over my head. I'm a little upset, but I'm still navigating. I was navigating deep on one America's Card Room. I think we got down to the final 2 tables in that one. It was a PKO. I busted out really. I got hammered on a hand. I just wasn't. I didn't stream much of my ACR stuff. We were in the deep 11 at the same time. I had just busted out of the night brawl. Nothing really happening there. I couldn't get hands a hold during the rebuy period, and then I'm just folding shit out left and right. Didn't really get much going. I mean, you know, stuff like that just happens in a tournament. No harm, no foul. That didn't really do anything to me. Quick 11, I played okay. I was sitting at the table with one of my buddies, Luke. It was interesting, but by the same token, I wouldn't change it for the world. But the ACR, I get busted. This one, where I'm so sick of feeling this way with Bet Online, where players really just don't fold, man. And they overplay pairs. They overplay junky ace hands and get there a lot just because there's so much variance with the lack of folding. And the fields are probably double the size of global, and the play is you're up against worse players more often. And because their structures are not deep at all, you're getting put in positions where variance is going to happen a lot more because you're in these spots a lot more. This is down to 2 tables, and I'm like 4th or 5th in chips with 9 left with just 11 big blinds, right? Like, that's insane. Like, that's very shallow, super shallow. And understanding all of these dynamics, I'm hoping to talk you guys through it. I hope everybody that has tuned in and is staying here to this point is going to get a lot of value from this. Because when you multi-table, when you multi-site, when you accumulate a lot of this emotional stress and emotional baggage, it could be good or bad emotional baggage. Because I'll tell you, I was actually feeling really good. I knew I was on my way with reads, with chip stack size, with understanding the game flow. I knew I was on my way to podiuming this and also the Ignition tournament at the same time. I was in a flow, and I kind of got punched in the face losing this and took it out on that game. Please, for the love of God, do what you need to do to shift gears. Be in and out of what you're feeling. If you need to talk it through, run it through with game tape, because this is something you actually can do real time. Athletes, this is game film that we're reviewing, right? The time and energy you spend with these solver, with these pre-flop ranges, get your pre-flop ranges down and understand them as varying stack sizes and depths happen throughout a tournament, where you start navigating through what your ranges should be with what percentage of fields left. That's great. But your emotional control, how you're feeling, don't ever come into the game overly stressed, overly tired, overly drunk, stressed, tired, sleepy, like, and if you get into a tilt situation and you're six tabling, what is your plan to handle it? You know, that is something from this point forward. I'm putting my be the shark mindset into practice. Those of you that have gotten this deep, if you guys want, I'm going to share this with you guys here, and anybody that whispers me, I will share them this link. Mr. Golden Pear, I love you to death, brother. I fucking love you to death, dude. You are hands down one of my favorite people on all of online poker, man. Like, I cannot lie, dude. I absolutely love you to death, dude. You know what, too? I gotta tell you something, man. MGP, you've gotten a lot better in the last 2 years. I see you, man. I see you. I've been paying attention, dude, and you've been winning some. You've been putting it in, man. I don't know if you've been putting in the work or just putting in the time and how you've improved, dude, but you have gotten a hell of a lot better. I will never forget, and I hope you remember this, and I hope you guys pay attention to this. There was a time about 4 years ago where MGP would be a super nit. And I'll never forget, you and I got down to the final two tables in a tournament together. You had about 55 big blinds, and you basically folded all the way out down to like 15. Of course, brother. You had folded down to about 15 bigs. I don't think you played a damn hand, dude. I wound up winning that tournament. I think it was the late brawl. You just folded it all the way down, man. Had 55 big blinds, folded all the way down to 15. And this is like 3, maybe 4 years ago. Dude, you do not play like that anymore at all. I watch you, man. You are sharky as hell at the tables. I don't like it when I see you come on. You always wind up having it against me, which drives me crazy, and you hold against me, which is even worse. There's like 3 people that do it. You fucking who Dave is gonna remember. Who was the guy that I got heads up with them? Or no, we're down to 3. No, MGP is not my Lex Luthor for sure. Who is? There's some people I remember better the people that I really run well against. But there was one guy, Dave. I got heads up with him in the home game, and he's just he always Tickle Fist is my Lex Luthor, dude. I hate Tickle Fist, dude. Tickle Fist is one of those that's at my table. He always seems to have it, man. Tickle Fist. Oh fuck, man! You said his name and I hate it. So you've gotten this deep into the tournament. And the theme of this stream is how to run deep. And guys, all of the pre-flop study that you're doing it's not for shit. Oh, that's not my Instagram anymore. My Instagram is it's really pulling together a mindset. And when you pull together that mindset, it's applying it, and applying it at all times. Those of you that want a copy of this, just let me know. Hit me in a whisper on Twitch, or make sure you follow me on Instagram. You can hit me there too. It's Be the Shark Poker. What I'll do is I will share with you guys this link, uneditable, obviously, and you can start applying this. I've identified 13 mindset attributes that you need to apply in order to be a shark at the table. And the most important thing, I mean, these all applied to that punt last night. Patient. Sexton Hardcastle is a crusher, and he's a tough opponent. He was at my table at the Deep 11 last night. I was paying attention to him. I think you were too, MGP, if I'm not mistaken. You were at one of them. Yeah, Sexton's a crusher. I don't like having him at the table because I know I can't table captain. He can come in. Another guy, I run hot against him, but he's not a good time at the table. Has flushed me to tears. Fuck that guy. He and I battle for table captain rights often. We really battle for table captain. So he's a crusher. Top 5, I don't know, man. Man, you're talking about like Vegas Grinder and Some Dork and God's Big Toe and like there's who else, man? There's some real crushers on global, dude. Hell, you can go to. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He's a great player, but he's not. I don't know if he's top 5. So going through this, guys, the be the shark mindset. Gotcha. Flush Me to Tears is he's a badass player, dude. What I understand, I think his name's Luke as well. He's a decent live player, dude. I'll tell you who else has it against me that he was at my table in the lunch brawl. Momo Jojo. Momo Jojo's another guy. Like, I don't like seeing him. He always seems to be in the spots where he's got something on me. He's got a read on me that I need to fix. And I haven't figured out what it is, but he's got my number a lot. Momo does. He doesn't really run good against me. He plays well against me because he knows my game. Anyway, patient, disciplined, focused, present. Present's important. Present is where you let go of the past, guys. Analytical, talking this through. Methodical. You can analyze a situation, but you also have to have a method to back it up. So you can have the understanding. Analytical is looking at the numbers, talking through some of the strategies, but then cultivating the ideal method. It's a systematic way of playing. So, holy shit, yeah, MGP, dude. Mr. Golden Pear, I want to know how you have made the change that you made in the last 2 years, dude. Because there's something that you have done where you did, man. You went from like an uber nit to a fucking crusher, and I see you, and I would love for us to compare notes. I do. Something I'm going to bring as we're talking through this. One of the major reasons why I personally, what is that? Oh, that's funny. My shark scope dropped 2 points. How did that happen? That's off of bricking. That's crazy. This. I guarantee I win one and it's 74. Right here is where I came back to the game. This is about 4 months ago, and I hired a coach, started studying, and then here is where, is that right? No, it's here. Yeah. Hasn't even been a month. Right here. right at the bottom of this trough and then explosion up is where I am now in the BBC staking and training pool. So that thing straight up, that's crazy right there, dude. Mr. Golden Pair, do you mind if I pull up your shark scope here? Is that okay? Do I have your permission? While you are saying yes. It's a really good question. I'm going to do a YouTube on that, Dave. Yep, okay. So this here is knit. This is knit, Mr. Golden Pair. This fucking guy. I hate playing this guy. What'd you bank, dude? Oh. You won the Poker News Cup for 30K? You bad mother trucker. And then you banked. Nice, dude. You banked one of the goats too. What was this one? Teaser. Deep freeze. Yeah, the mini. I love the mini deep, man. Cool, dude. Like, it's funny. Yeah, I understand. I mean, it's like I deposited $150 originally online back in 2019, and I mean within what game is that? Like it's like it was like game 100. I played some. That's game 20, 40, 80. I banked a pretty big win at game 84. Is your ABI super low? Mine too. Mine too. If you look at just schedule, and I want to keep this on task, guys. But oh wow, that's 81. That was 81 before. Sorry, I'm gonna take you out. Actually, here, let's do this. This will move it up. Nope, it didn't do it. So, that's scheduled. This is not scheduled. Okay, we can see the comparison here. If you take out my sit and goes, I have a straight up trajectory, but if you look at my sit and goes kept me flat because I was trying to be a heads up specialist. And I couldn't crack it. I couldn't crack it to save my life. The micro satellites, yeah, dude. I don't play those anymore either. I don't play them at all. Yep, agreed. And that's kind of the point. All my sit and goes, let's, I'm going to show you guys that too. This is funny. I should be, it actually was 81, but this is my sit and goes, and this is mainly me trying to be heads up. Because if you look at my breakdown of where, like, the 107s, $10 heads up, I mean, this actually isn't even that bad, honestly. But 32, these are all heads up. I tried to crack being a heads up player, and that's where. What's the loss here? 1,824. You look here. You take out these heads up, and I'm actually a profitable sit and go player. 6 max. The 44s 9 player. I mean, I'm not a very bad sit and go player. when it's not heads up. And then you start adding in Omaha. I started crushing people heads up. In fact, like the $50 two-player and the $32 two-player, these skyrocketed my average buy-in on sit and goes. Is my average buy-in? No, it's lower. And it's just because I could grind out all of these. Where's the $6 9 person? Where's the $11 9 person? Oh wow, that had gotten bad for me. That happened recently, by the way. But these are the games that I was really starting to turn it around. And I used all of these 6 and 9 player sit and goes to work on my final table game. I worked on my heads up game with these. And because I wanted to be able to close it out. The problem is the heads up game is very different when you're trying to specialize in it versus this. This is another thing. You have to be true to your numbers and understand your numbers, right? It's really important. Let's take... That's crazy, man. I won one yesterday, too. I was not paying attention to my favorite site, Global. Global's 100% my favorite site. Tell you what, too, Dave, get me in as a streamer for Global. None of my streams will have any of the other sites. It will only have Global. I'm pretty loyal to Global. Only thing I love how social we can be. I mean, most of you guys I know from Global, which is awesome. But I'll also say this too. I got into poker originally, not just because it's it's a game that you can make money. Like that was important, but it's equally a social game, and I love how social Global Poker makes playing. And yes, guys, I sit here and I do my old game, chip tricks and shuffling, and it's so funny, dude. It is so funny. And oddly enough, I've gotten where I can only do it. Whoops! I can only do it now. I can't do it above my chest. I can only do it with my left hand because I do it with my mouse. I used to be able to chip shuffle and all that stuff live with both hands and flip them and take it through my fingers. And I can't even do that anymore because I'm always right-handed mouse and left-handed shuffling and chip tricking. Sorry. Staking, Dave. It's the first time I've ever been staked. I love the camaraderie. I love having a coach I check in with every week. Again, the reason why from here, 6'3", I started with a coach, Garrett James. And went from there to here with him teaching me how to study better. And I gotta say, the group was... This is not a knock on the group, but it's more beginner people that are coming in. And I felt like a lot of the questions that were being answered, I already had most of the answers to. Once I started shoring up what my ranges should be, pre-flop ranges, hands, statistics should be with shark scope, I then started venturing into a lot more. Some of the issues that I was having was being too predictable with 3-bets, being under defending the big blind, not playing the small and big blinds at all. And now I've gotten a lot more comfortable in that spot. I'm applying a lot of what I've learned and pulling it into the database and doing hand reviews and talking with you guys. Sorry I've been absent, guys. I had to. I took my spare time of replacing. My wife and I worked on our bathroom floor. I had to completely redo my entire bathroom floor and reinstall a toilet. It took us an entire week to do it, and it was time that my wife had vacation during her birthday. It was crazy. I'm back streaming, but from this point up is where, yep, the big blind and the small blind. And it's also testing it out too. Some people will let you limp small blind to big blind. Some people will always raise small blind to big blind. I actually have figured out how to start making money from the big blind against the small blind that's playing too strong. I actually have gotten to the point, big blind against the button, I defend it a lot wider than I used to. But I'm also very careful against player type. But the small blind versus big blind, I'm going to go pull my statistics now that we're talking about it. I print now against weaker players. There's a lot of people that are just hyper aggro for no reason, small blind versus big blind. I make a lot of money off of those people, especially on global. I find that the small blind versus big blind play is really poor. There are a certain handful of people that you watch that they navigate it real well, and those people, I don't try to shove back on them. But I call a lot of these guys that are way too wide very lightly, and they will cough up 20% of their stack in 1 to 2 hands just because they're trying to table captain, and they don't, like, you can't just raise and keep barreling and not know if that big blind has a good hand or not. Blind versus blind button plays everything. Yep, I agree. I do agree. And it's also where, if you look at a lot of the hands that I was reviewing here, like almost all of them centered and merged around like hijack, lowjack, cutoff, button, and blinds. Like it's, and then all of like the under the gun and middle position are, all of them are like, it's nutted hands, right? For the most part. And it's where navigating those things is so key, and it will boost you up. But you got to get your pre-flop blinders down right. You've got to understand player types, and you got to get your mind going in the right direction. Going back to it, guys. Methodical. You got to be resilient. So, like, no matter what happens in outcomes of the game, you really, really, really have to perform resiliently. Where when you're, I use the term, I got this from a mindset, and I guess you would call him like a personal development coach. His name is Vishen Lakhiani, and this comes from his book. It's not 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It is. I'm not seeing it on my shelf, and I don't know why. Vishen Lakhiani. Vishen Lakhiani. I have gifted this book 10 times. Somebody Google it real quick. Vishen Lakhiani. His book is The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And he has a handful of ways to break out of things that are holding you back inside of your game. Not your game, sorry, inside of life. And this one in particular, the resilience or the unfuckwithableness, is... let's look at the meme, man. This meme is powerful. It is. Here it is, right here. Unfuckwithable. When you're truly at peace and in touch with yourself, nothing anyone says or does bothers you, and no negativity can touch you. You know what, guys? That needs to get into... That needs to get in here. And let's put it in. Unfuckwithability is the quality of being at peace and in touch with yourself. Why is Grammarly not like that? So that nothing anyone says or does bothers you, and no negativity can touch you. Is that what that said? I feel like that's improper. When you're truly at peace and in touch with yourself, and nothing anyone says or does, nothing when it says or does bothers you, and no negativity or drama can touch you. There you go. That is being unfuckwithable. Oh, yeah, dude. Hey, Mr. Golden Pear, so... Man, it's awesome that you're saying that. And this is super relevant, too. And a lot of this stuff needs to get broken down into chunks. But Evan Gripst Jarvis. Evan Gripst Jarvis. He is a poker pro, and he's sponsored from ACR. He actually, I saw a YouTube video on him where he was talking about, somebody had asked him if online poker was rigged, and he had an amazing response about it. For some reason, I am not seeing this. I bet this is it. Here it is. I started an article, and I wanted to quote him inside of this. I want to make sure that you guys get this too. Oh, yeah. He's one of the original guys that I think did marbles on his stream. And it's funny that Dave is doing it now too. Evan's one of those guys that has perpetuated marbles. And man, people log in to it just as much to watch him play marbles as they do watch him play poker. He loses me with the marble shit. Anyway, is online poker rigged? So, man, I forgot to add this in, but Tony Robbins this is half done. Tony Robinson said, "You rise or fall levels of questions that you ask yourself." So if you're going into any hand and you're saying, or if you're ever even saying, even this is a narrative, we had to have crossed paths. I was actually a very good player on Ultimate Bet and Absolute Poker. I didn't play as much on Stars, and for some reason, Full Tilt structures and the way that they did, I didn't do great on Full Tilt. Man, but I was pretty darn good on Ultimate Bet and Absolute Poker. And Party Poker. Party Poker is the only place I've ever had online multiple 5-figure scores. I haven't had a 5-figure score online in years. In fact, I haven't had a 5-figure score. Man, it's been since. It hasn't been in the 2020s. It was in the 2010. Uh, the 45 mans, I didn't really play them. You know what I crushed on Full Tilt was cash games. I was a lot more of a live cash game player back then. I learned Sit and Goes on Poker Stars and Full Tilt. I learned cash games live. I learned to play poker live. I was in Texas and I learned how to sit there. I watched all these people play, and what I would do is I would keep my head. I'd let people get drunk. I'd let people get pissed off, and I would pick them off one by one, bringing in their checks and just getting owned. Like it was, I used to You want to talk about 5-figure scores? I've had multiple. I crushed probably about. I probably made about $75 an hour playing 2-5. I averaged between $60 to $75 an hour back 15 years ago. Yeah, 15 years ago playing 2-5 live. Maybe 20 years ago. Yeah, about 20 years ago. And I'll tell you right now, it was right before and right after Black Friday. Live poker in Texas was awesome. People were so crazy and wild. It still perpetuates as crazy and wild, but it's very easy to nut pedal and crush people, or be in position with a suited connector and somebody in one of the blinds, or somebody in early position that's calling 3 bets way too light, to simply just outplay them by either hitting a really big hand or putting pressure on people to fold. I will say this, dude. I now prefer tournament poker. Shit, man. It was that much? Wow, $90 or $400 for first place. Yeah, the BBZ stable doesn't allow us to play Sit and Goes on their money. And full transparency, I'm going to say this, and I will challenge Phil Nagy or anybody at Bet Online or Ignition. There's so much collusion in these Sit and Goes on ACR, on Bet Online, and on Ignition that I won't play them. Global's the only place that I feel safe. Seeing the people, knowing that I can have legit conversations with people, and I don't see gang squeezing of the same pools of players that I see on America's Card Room, that I see on Bet Online. And then you just, I know it's anonymous, but the play is very suspect. I don't play. I'll play some cash online, but a lot of it, I'm a cybersecurity analyst, and I'm a cybersecurity consultant and architect. And yes, I'm off today. That's why I'm on 3-hour stream. Global has the way that their software is set up. It's hard for bots to attach to the browser. And they do a good job of kicking them off. But here's the other thing. It's such a social site. One of the dead giveaways is going to be, you get a lot of those multi-tablers, right? I know Momo Jojo's a legitimate person. He multi-tables a lot, but he doesn't, he and I have legit long-term conversations. So I know he's not a bot, but he's still crushing those high stakes, right? MGP, dude, you and I have conversations at the tables. Global has done such a good job of making the social aspect something that's both on the table and also inside of the Twitch streams, that it gets harder and harder for people to be to also bot without being sought out or recognized. I have a suspect. I have a handful of suspects, and a couple of them play on Sit and Goes. I don't think there's too many that do a lot of multi-table tournaments. Anyway, on to Is Poker Rigged? Evan was asked this, and his response: in poker, the best hand will not always win. That's not true. When all 5 cards are dealt out, the best hand always wins. It might not be the best pre-flop hand, but anyway. Many of the most favorable situations, the best hand is an 80% favorite, not 100%, which is very true. Randomness determines who will win, and while the software is in place in which randomness happens, it's not choosing one player over another. The key issue of anger or disappointment or feeling things are rigged against you is to evaluate your level of entitlement. And entitlement tilt is big. If for whatever reason you think you deserve more, to win all the time, to do better than others, then you're experiencing entitlement, which is unhealthy and doesn't serve you. If, however, you accept the reality that everyone wins their fair share of hands, and just as often they will get unlucky, too. And as often they will get unlucky due to will you, then you can I don't know what he was trying to say there. I copy and paste this directly from somebody who was quoting him. Then you can play from a healthy space. If entitlement is in your game, it's better to address this before playing more poker. When you have an unrealistic expectation about how often or how much you should win, you usually end up experiencing disappointment, which can lead to beliefs that the game is rigged against you because your mind is trying to rationalize and justify your position that you should win. All right. Thank you, Evan Jarvis. This is where having all of this, the resilience, a positive mindset, and I am not talking about toxic positivity, which is it's a trait where shit's fucking burning down around you. You're like, hey, everything's gonna be okay. Like, no, fuck that. It's more, hey, you know what? Shit, things are burning down around us. Yo, let's grab a fire extinguisher. Let's put this out. Let's make an impact on this fire, or let's get the hell out of here, and let's go into a space where we're more safe. Like, you can have a positive mindset without it being toxic and oblivious to a bad situation. It's more of making sure, hey, you know what? I'm confident. I'm going to maintain a resilient attitude. And, okay, this bad beat happened. What can I do about this? Like, you partner a positive mindset with a growth mindset, and you go, okay, you know what? It was a positive. This didn't happen. 20% variance happened on an 80-20 spot. Can I have played this different? Okay, I can take that with me. I can improve. Or did poker just happen? Did variance just happen? That hand I showed, the kings versus the fours, variance happened. Yes, I am not immune to, like, taking bad beats bad. I don't always 100% apply the be the shark mindset, but I work hard to make sure that I do. Hey, I got 2 whispers, which means at least 2 of you want this document. That's cool. Again, anybody that wants this, just whisper me and you can get it. But, you know, like, we're going to get emotional. You should. If you screw up, like I did, where I punted off in 14th place, I still have a hard time reconciling whether or not that was a punt or that was just... MGP, are you still on? Because I'm going to pull that hand back up and I'm going to play it out for you. Let me know if you're on. Dave, if you're on too, because I know you wanted to actually see the hand. I had a situation last night where I read the guy's hand. Okay, cool. I'll pull that ace-10 hand back up where, you know, in understanding, where my understandings of GTO, it wasn't how my hand played out. It was understanding the dynamics of the game, what he could and couldn't have. Okay, yeah, I'll... MGP, whisper me too on on here. I want to talk with you offline, and Dave, I want to talk with you offline about making the stream even better now that I have my setup again. But now that I have a better setup and it doesn't lag at all. I have double the RAM and a lot better computer and monitor. Taking the situation and ensuring, next time I can tilt it in my favor to win that $1,100 payday off of a $15 buy-in instead of $65 that I won, which is vomit, right? Competitive, dude. I have a hyper competitive spirit, but you have to take your competitive spirit and have it be healthy too. And health is like, guys, it's a caffeine, but it also has alpha GPC, which is it's a mind hack. It expands the capillaries in your brain, and your neurons fire faster and better. It's having a healthy attitude, making a healthy way you take care of your body. I work out daily, and I try to eat as nutritious as possible. And even when I'm playing, I'll have plant-based protein shakes next to me, or a bar, things like that. You pair a healthy attitude and a healthy body with a competitive spirit, linked with everything else, it moves needles. Dedicated study times, dedicated practice. It's exactly what I do here, so you guys don't have to. And probably most important is being adaptable. What one situation dictates might not be the exact same thing that you need somewhere else. Oh, that's awesome. You walk while you play? I could turn this into a stand-up desk and do it. I don't find it beneficial. I actually would rather take breaks, because I also work from home. I take breaks, but usually when I take breaks, I'm out. I go out and I'll clean my pool. I'll get the sunshine. Sun's super important. The only way you really metabolize vitamin D is going to be through direct sunlight. You can supplement with it all you want. You get 20,000 steps a day? Shit, no, man. My average is 8,000, and that 10,000 thing is it's not true for health. 8,000 is something it will keep it keeps your bones dense. So does heavy lifting, keeping muscle on your body, especially that's crazy, dude. What do you do professionally if you get 20,000 steps a day? I can't. It would time consume me too much, because that's 6 miles, 7 miles a day that you're walking, dude. That's 6 or 7 miles off 20,000 steps. Yeah, dude. Getting your juices flowing. No, I don't allow myself the minimum I work out per day. And this is to be better at life, the game of life, not just at poker. Minimum I work out is 3 times a week. I have a group that I actually coach it. It's probably right. Well, especially if you're short. If you're like my wife, man, 20,000 steps is 10 miles. She's 5'4". Me, I'm 5'8". I could get 10,000 steps, 7 to 8 miles, dude. Probably 8. 10,000 is about 4. You're right. It's 4.5. So it's 9. So it's 4 to 4.5 miles for 10,000 steps, and then around, I would say 9, 6'2", 190. Shit, dude. And see, I'm 5'8", 200. I'm a former competitive bodybuilder and powerlifter. That's the reason why I utilize health coaching and personal training. I used to own a personal training studio. Yeah, anyway. Personal training studios. All right, guys. I'm going to pull this back up and in the stream. Let's jump into it. MGP and Dave, I know you guys wanted to get this. God, I hate seeing that up, 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 up. Bam. At least that one was on Kings, not Ace 10 and Bluff. Hero. They get this so wrong. Unless I don't think I rebought. For $10 a fucking hour, and it should have been $100 an hour. That it should have been. This is the hand. So there's context behind this. I want to make sure you guys see it. It's very different seeing this replayed and not understanding the dynamic of what you've played in before. Cool. This guy and I have had battles. He got angry with me from the time that we were down at 3 tables down to 2. He was a really big stack, about 50 big blinds, and I had 20 something, and I would not I would not let him fuck with my big blind, and I was rejamming on him. And let's paint a little context here. This was a jam on him. I wish it said, does it have position? It doesn't. This was a jam against him. I think, and this was a jam against him too. So he tried to limp me, and I jammed him here. And then again, he tried to min raise me here, and I jammed on him. This is all pre-flop. From that point forward, I think this is the same thing. This is the same too. This is a pivotal pot that I played against him. He got tired of min raising me, and he started limping against me. In this one, he suddenly, I thought immediately he had a huge hand at this point. And if you look, he's got a bigger stack than me. His VPIP to his pre-flop raising, he was getting involved way more than I feel like he should. And I was strategically utilizing 3-betting. As you see here, I 3-bet more than pretty much everybody else at the table. I would just strategically play back at him because I knew he was coming in way too wide. So I wanted him to define his hands better. And I had a very good sense of what his range was and how he was playing. I need to remind you guys, I played with this guy for 2 tables before this. I know it says 38 hands, but I was on my other setup, and at a break, I switched from that one to here. So this should probably be around 70 hands. I played with this guy for a very long time. So this is understanding of his game. Station. I would tag him as loose aggressive, because if you start looking at, he didn't take many passive lines. I don't know why. I'd have to go look at my database. This is funny because I was supposed to be working with my coach. My coach canceled, and I get to work with multiple coaches, which are you crushers, and I appreciate you guys for being here. Yeah, I mean, look at this. He's raising. He loved he loved the cutoff. When he was in the cutoff, I was on the button 4 of 5 times here. Yeah, your VPIP 34% isn't that great, but remember, if he loves position. The other thing is he likes flatting a lot too in position. So when you start looking at it, his VPIP and his pre-flop raise are divided in half, and it should be more merged like this. Like they should be very close to each other, which means no, he has a flat strategy. He did not start limping until I started table captaining against him, trying to play me. He couldn't try me. He had developed a strategy where he was playing against the table, and because he had so many chips, people were just kind of folding to him, and he didn't understand it. Like, he didn't see the shark avatar and understand he was playing against a shark. Anyway, no, man, I can't even say that without laughing. But my intention was, like, back off, don't fuck with me. I'm going to play my bigger hands big. And if you're going to come in against me, you're going to have to defend or define your hand better. That was the whole point. And that's the reason why, like, even with this one where he limps in, I got worried that he had adjusted because I had been so aggressive strategically. And as you see, like, I wasn't being out of line, but the perception could have been that I was out of line. Flatting here is perfectly fine. I hated that he did this. I would have rather have raised here to just get 2 ways, especially when we see the flop and all 3 of us are uncapped at this point, right? So this favors us to getting to, like, the straights. Actually, all 3 of us have a merged ranged. MGP used to never get out of line, dude. Used to never get out of line, dude. That's so funny. I've had to adjust with you. Anyway, this is where, and this is what's happened, where all, like, this flop is 100% a merged uncapped range against 3 people, and this is what happens real early in tournaments when you're multi-way and you see all this shit. Like they get harder to navigate. It's the reason why I had in the beginning I had such a low c-bet range level when it should be around 75-80%. And these are the situations that wind up happening when people start playing passive. You have to navigate them post flop, and you actually have to make hands as opposed to, like, understand ranges. Anyway, and you're gonna miss 70% of the time. You're gonna miss boards. So when you do have something that you hit, like, you need to extract your value from it and protect it, but don't overprotect it to the point where somebody can outmaneuver you. Anyway, so here we are. Inside of my head, I'm like, okay, dude's got a really big hand that he limped. I'm thinking aces, kings, tens, or he's got something along the lines of like an ace-jack or a king-jack. Likelihood is pretty low simply because I have the jack removal. There's only two more jacks left in the deck, right? But I also have the draws. What's he limping with here? I'm thinking it's a big hand. thinking it's a bigger hand, and his ball shrunk up because he's like, he doesn't have a golden pair. He's got little raisins because he's looking at it going, shit, man, I just limped, and 2 people could smash this board. That's my thoughts here, and I call. I remember in the back of my head, I'm like, he's got to have aces or kings. Probably doesn't have queens because I removed one of those queens, and I'm like, he can't have. He just doesn't have jacks. Period. Dude, and I'm like, it's got to be like 9s, 10s, aces or kings. Like this is the only thing that makes sense that he was trying to get paid off with it. And then he got that, oops, oh shit, and he barreled here. He barreled pretty big. That guy gets out of the way. This card 100% favors me all the way. Like I've got most of the 10-9s, most of the Queen X, most of the like Jack X. And, you know, here, if he's got Ace King, if he's got Ace Queen, if he's got I want to navigate carefully in case he had aces or kings because I only had top pair, but this card way favors me 100%. And based on what he did on the turn, I was going to determine like aces or kings is going to continue here. But 10s probably don't. 9s probably don't. Dude doesn't have 8s. Like he's gonna try to get more paid. He checks. Flush gets there. I don't have any flush removal, which is why I didn't bet as big. I probably would have went a little bit higher. 5-6 got there. The 10-9 is still there. I'm betting range here. I'm betting everything. Even take my hand out of it. My range against his range, even if he had aces or kings, I know he doesn't have aces or kings at this point. Because there's no way he doesn't protect that hand with another bet. So I'm like, all right, dude, fuck you. I'm going to put in both blocker and value bet at the same time. If he winds up jamming on me, it didn't cost me that much, but I could target some hands like the 9s, the 10s, the 6s. If he had ace 7, if he had king 7, something along those lines, he might make a crying call where he only would need to be right, what, 15, 20% of the time there in order for that to print, right? Flop, like that bet is screaming value. And he winds up folding it. So I want you guys to have context that we've played a lot up to this point. And I have ranged him pretty appropriately for this hand. And this hand, in all honesty, I think the dude was just like, fuck this guy. So, all right. So he limps again. Under the gun, he limps. And here I'm like, all right, he did this before. It was not aces or kings. So the likelihood of him having aces goes down with me holding an ace in my hand. It's probably not kings or queens here. What could he have? What is he limping in again? He didn't show down before. A lot of the hands that he showed down, like there wasn't much limping. He's just adopting this strategy. Let's figure this out as we go. This is probably something like ace X suited, or he could have a non-suited ace inside of this range. It could be a small pocket pair that he's looking to hit, drill a flop. It could be 2 broadways, but kind of like a junky hand, like a queen jack or a king jack, king queen, something along those lines. That's my thought, my process. I'm like, okay, there aren't many people left to act behind me other than this guy that has been 3-betting a lot, that We get out of line. I'm going to 3-bet here to try to get heads up with him and have position, or to put these two guys in a position where they're going to define their hand. Same thing with him. So you can start looking at, as you work through the game tree, you can start working and paring it down and defining people's hands by throwing in a 3-bet now. With this one, I was a little on the fence to go 4x, which is like a standard, let's just say, 2x is a standard raise, but we've got a limper in there, right? And we also have the blinds and the antes in there. Right. And see, that was exactly my thought in the moment. Is two Broadways that aren't like a weird hand, like a queen jack or a king jack. The fucking hands that like they send you to the rail often because you overplay them when you hit top pair, and you don't make a nut like Broadway straight or a small pocket pair that he's looking to set mine with. Really? Yeah, I don't do that. Because my opinion, MGP. My opinion, if you just 2x here, it incentivizes every motherfucker just to call. That's the reason why I feel a little bit bigger 3-bet is going to define other people's hands and isolate people more. I have chips to play with. You would 3.5x? My mind, so here's the thing. On Ignition, yeah. And that's exactly what I was thinking, was to go 4x. And on Ignition, it has 2x, 5x, 2x, 3x, 5x. I hit 5x, and I'm like, I was going to click it down one. Something happened, and I go, what should I do? I go, fuck it, I'm just going to run with it. And I just ran with it. I would have preferred a 4x. And even looking back at this, I should have went 4x. I thought this through as well. And I like Dave, I like you, except it still incentivizes him to call. I want him to define his hand and what he feels like its strength is. So I'm treating this like a 3-bet because he's suddenly done this, and I feel like he's doing it with a little bit stronger hands, trying to play against me. So I went 5x. Probably should have been 4x. And he called. He called. This starts to work this down the value tree, or work this up the value tree. We can then start to look at this. I'm looking at this. This is a 3-bet range that he called with. So now I'm thinking suited aces. I'm thinking ace X. So ace jack plus. Yeah. You're thinking very defensively. I understand. But by the same token, there's two things going on here. Number one, I have at least a strong enough hand in position now that maneuvering post flop, we could get in there. I'll tell you this: if an ace hits the board, I'm gonna play a lot more passive here. When two kings come out, I need you to understand too, we aren't, this is a concept where my coach, who is a GTO Dave, it's not always like that. Top pair I navigate very strategically. And I'm not as passive at top pair. I'm more passive on spots where somebody hasn't defined themselves, and we could be dealing with merged ranges. I'll tell you what, dude. Top pair, the best, the average winning hand in poker is 2 pair. And I do want to isolate the limpers. I don't want to incentivize anybody else to come in. 5x is way too big. I bloated this pot. And it's the reason why we got to the point that we got to in this. Agreed. Remember this too. So there's a metagame going on. There are levels to this game. Guys, it isn't just ace-10 offsuit, which is an upper medium strength hand. It is, what am I portraying that I have as well? I've shown down, the hands that I've shown down, queens. Let's just kind of go through it and understand metagame too. Queens, kings, did it show? Queens never showed. Kings showed down. Ace king never got there. Tens, which I played passive, and that was against him. Ace king shows down. He winds up folding here, didn't show. 9-7 didn't show. That's too long ago for him to even remember that. I've shown down a lot, but I've also played very strong. So, metagame too, guys. It isn't just the hand. We have backdoor draws that can hit here. Yes, Queen Jack needs to run out for me to feel comfortable there, but Dave, we don't need to beat home a point of the 5x. That was too big. It was too big. Think? I actually see in your mind that's what that means. In my mind, what the 5x to me meant was, hey, I want to get heads up. Anybody that wants to call in between, you're going to define your hand. These guys are probably, he's jamming. In all honesty, if he's investing that much without a jam, it narrows him down a lot. It really narrows his hand down a lot. Kings, ace king, queens, probably even jacks are piling it in here. It defines his hand so much. The 5x, to me, had nothing to do with, hey, go away. It was isolation. I was not betting on any pure strength. I was betting to isolate a person out of position or to get other people to define their hand. I wanted to go, I should have went 4x and thought it and didn't do it. Let's not belabor that point because we can get off track. And I'll tell you, the reason why I went 4x was that exact same reason. I actually was adjusting for what I should have bet pre-flop, and all I was doing was kind of course correcting. You have exactly my thought. I'm gonna say this, dude, MGP. Your 2x against a limper is not going to accomplish getting heads up with him in most tournaments. My opinion. Yeah, I'm not the dude that's. I haven't won 40 grand in the last 12 months. I've won 15 grand in the last 12 months. To be fair, I've won about 3 grand of it in actually 4. If you include my live win, I've won $6,000 in 4 months. So that doesn't include my cash games because it's double that. So I've won $12,000 in 4 months. Let's just say that. And I don't play cash games anymore because the staking doesn't allow me to. And my bankroll misses the cash games. Anyway, the way that I'm looking at this, I'm just trying to get isolated with that limper. Or get anybody else to define behind him. Should have went 4x. We went 5x. He calls. And this is relevant because we now have a 12 big blind. 12 big blind here. Ace King is in his range, but I think he jams it. I genuinely think he jams it. This leaves him down to, in my head, a smaller pocket pair. Nines are in his range to flat here. Sixes, sevens, like 6 plus. Let's say Ace Jack is there. There's no fucking trap going on at all, right? Like there isn't a trap. King Jack is in this range. Queen Jack is in this range. These are the hands that I'm looking at and I'm targeting, or even Ace X. Ace X suited probably calls here. Jack 10, I think I even said it on stream. Jack 10 is a consideration, but I have Ace 10. So likelihood is not as high, but it's there. Right. And that's also the reason why. See, like with Dave, hey, 5X is screaming him to go away. I wanted him to fucking call because I knew I could outplay him. I didn't want anybody else calling. And then I'm like, okay, so it's like he probably doesn't have Ace 10. It's probably like Ace X suited. Or what are some of the Ace X offsuits that he's going to have? It's going to be Ace Jack, Ace Queen. Like, it's not anything in the upper 10-15% of range, period. He checks, and this is where I'm like, okay, I'm going to down bet. Because a king will kind of string me along here. But if the turn turns into something that is kind of sketchy, if we get another board pair like 9, another king rolls off, fuck this guy. I'm going to play this like Ace King. That's it. In my head, I'm like, I've got Ace King. He's either going to need to put me on Ace King, Queens, or even quad Kings here. Or I've got Jacks. Like, this is my range I'm portraying. This is what he needs to see. And I'm going to target and fold out all that other shit that he can't call with. So, I go 4X. He calls. 2 comes. 2 diamonds. Now, I'm like, okay, maybe some of the suited Ace X is here. And I want to de-incentivize him to continue on. I don't block any of the flushes. He could have been calling with a backdoor draw. Jack 10, Queen 10, probably not there. Dude does not have a king. I have played it like I have a fucking king or a really big premium hand. I'm going to continue selling that story. SPR is basically one. Like, I mean, it's my stack to the pot is, I mean, it's the same thing. Seriously? I play Ace King exactly like this. I swear on my life, I play Ace King exactly like this. I play King Jack suited or King Queen suited the exact same way. I don't think MGP. I want to hear you too. I would 3-bet King Jack or King Queen suited the exact same way. I I would play and navigate jacks, tens, maybe not tens. I might not 3-bet tens against him. I don't against a limper probably. Yeah, I don't want to justify. I want good minds to challenge me here and talk this through. Queens, jacks, aces. And that's what I'm targeting. See, dude, and it's funny. I'm putting him on ace X suited. Okay, I get it, Dave. Ace X suited, and at this point, there's no fucking king in his range, period. He doesn't have it. I honestly think with the potential of straights running out, what can he call with? What are the only hands where we are 14 people, down to 14 people, $1,100 on top? Bro, it's not even... MGP is even fucking worse than that. I am targeting... Dave wouldn't... Well, I hope Dave would call a Duxie filled up, dude. Dave wouldn't fucking call with twos, dude. Dave folds in this spot. Mr. Golden Pair, you fold in this spot if you're him. I fold in this spot if I am him. Period. I fold, and this is where this is exploitative. Dave, I hope you're running this through a solver. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to see. Solver probably waits. Fuck, man, if we got to the river with this one, like his hero call would make fucking sense. Here, it doesn't make sense. I don't have this sinking pit in my stomach anymore. I overbet jam. Targeting small pair. Fuck. Dude, if he outplayed me with a king here, congratulations. If he outplayed me with nines, congratulations. You're the fucking man. Stupid, dude. Oh, man, I love you, dude. I said we're not going to waste time on the pre-flop fucking raising. I'm going to clip where I said, oh, maybe I should go 4x here. I swear to God I said it on stream. Or thought it. Like, I might have said it, I might have thought it. Either way. Fuck off. I love you, dude. So, jam. What can he call with, guys? What can he call with? Like, I'm targeting air and lower pair. Really? I wonder if GTO Wizard does. Ace 9 can't fucking call. Ace 9 can't fucking call here, dude. Dude, the only, like, he is limited. You don't fucking limp. Like, he doesn't, he has nothing here he can call with. There, like, it floors me. Really? Huh. I don't buy that either, though. Ace? I don't believe that. Let's call it a 3-bet. Let's call it under early position. Where's the button? There it is. Okay. So I'm hijack, right? Effective stacks were, let's call it 30. Huh. Let's call it a 3-bet. Look at that. Holy shit. We didn't even look this up, guys. And like this is just working with the preflop ranges in the solver up in my head. And here you go. Here you go, guys. Exactly what I said and what I targeted. Like, he doesn't... You can cross these off. You can cross these off. This is a hell of a lot more exploitative than this is GTO, but it's also understanding. It's understanding in the node tree, in the game tree. This is equal parts just understanding this game, understanding player types. This guy had just had enough. This fucking call is a punt. And you look at it, I've narrowed him down inside of this game tree, and this fucking call, he calls with fucking ace queen air. Haas is funny, dude. Haas said something the other day. It made me kind of cringe, and I love Haas, dude. I think Haas is salt of the earth, wonderful human being. This is not to disparage him, but he's old school street poker, like feel it out throwback guy. Haas is me 15 years ago, 20 years ago, dude. I love Haas. But someone asked him the other day, how do you play against somebody that plays GTO? This might have even been Tuesday, I think. You have to go back and look at the stream. And he said something like, if they shove, just call them a bottom pair or some shit. And I'm like, I'm cringing at his advice. I'm like, they overbluff. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? So what am I jamming with here? I'm going to jam something. I'm going to jam King X here. I definitely will, especially if we have flush draw that just came in, and if he's got a suited ace, what does he think I have? I think he thinks I had fucking dick. I guarantee he probably thought let's just pretend for a second. I had 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks, queens. If I had any of this, he's fucked. Dude, if I had ace deuce, if I had ace 9, if I had any pair, if I had ace king here, they aren't that bad, right? No way. Because remember, this queen gets your... I don't jam... Oh, fuck. I might jam river. Guys, let's pretend for a second, like... Dave, I don't know if you have the place where you can node lock. holy shit, man. You realize we get down to the river, a crying call on the river from him, and a jam from me on the river, my jam would totally make sense. If we went check, check on the turn, I had just decided, fuck this guy. He doesn't have a king. He's got probably has a small pocket pair or some kind of like ace-x. Like, he can't call, especially with 14 left. I was dead fucking right. I just don't know how he finds a call here. You hear me on stream and I'm like, how does he call here? Yeah, no, Dave, I like challenging you. I know, MGP. Fuck, man. It's funny because this is, if you look, this is really the only time I got out of line. You guys see all of my hands. The perception from him was I was out of line. But if you look back at everything, I really didn't get out of line. But Dave, explain that one. I'm lost right now. What? How does a 9 block me from having ace king suited? I understand what you're... What does a 9 have to do with that? Down betting there, I'm going to say this. Man, I don't remember what coach is in my head right now. This might... I don't agree. I actually don't agree. Shit, man. I can't quote who it was, but a lot of people... Yeah, MGP, I like a 2 big blind, a 1 or 2 big blind lead on this flop with a king. I do. 4x pre-flop, maybe 3.5x. Better. 1 to 2 big blinds. 1 to 2 big blinds. I'm gonna c-bet with a king. Because the likelihood is, when you c-bet on this, people don't think that you have a king. They think that you're going to slow play it, which you shouldn't. You should get value. The only, I wouldn't bet 9s. I would bet a fucking king here. Easy. And all of my aces, all of my queens, all of my jacks, I think 2 big blinds better. I don't think I do 1 big blind. He's not a maniac. He's just sticky. He's more... He wanted to table captain up, and remember, when he first came into the table, these numbers were in the... Wait, where's this him? This is him. These numbers are a hell of a lot more aggressive. A 4 big blind bet did not force an honest response from him, MGP. It didn't. And against his player type, he's not too stationy, but at this point, he's emotionally fed up. He's emotionally fed up here. I got out of line at this point, and how he finds this call is fuck all beyond me, man. I just think he went on and just didn't fucking care. Like, he just didn't care at all. I mean, we can belabor this home. So, the changes that I would make here. Number one, I would bet smaller pre-flop. I would bet smaller on the flop. Dave, I don't know what's going through the guy's head. I really don't. I don't. I will say this too. I block all of the Broadway straights here, but so does, well, no, he doesn't. I didn't know he was not in a mood to fold. I didn't know he had gotten to this point. I could have asserted that. You remember, like live, when you're looking at somebody and he's like, fuck it, I call. Like, yeah. Or, like, you could see somebody get noticeably pissy or frustrated coming back at it. Anyway. Like, we belabored this point. Like, we're going on 3.5 hours on this stream. I really appreciate you guys. I genuinely do. This cost me a lot. I know. I used up my fold equity. I did. But getting this close to the money in an ICM situation that has such great ICM pressure, understanding from his perspective what he can and can't call, I'm blocking the straights. I'm playing it a certain way, and he just does not have the fucking equity to call if he understands ICM. I know that. I don't think this guy does. And this is also where, yeah, you don't. But this is where you have to understand how you're navigating here and what the best move would be. This is ignition. This is look at the number. You see that number there? You can't. You can only go by the history of it. And this is where with ignition you're only going by how somebody has played. It's anonymous poker, man. It is 100% anonymous poker. It's one of the major reasons why I like to use the statistics, where I like to use I take copious notes. I don't know, I don't really, usually I color coordinate people. I'm actually not sure why there's not a lot of color on this. This guy would be orange. This one would be yellow. That one's orange. Anything over a 25 VPIP, I feel like is a little more loose aggressive. This guy would be yellow. He's a little more on the tight aggressive side. Same thing here, tight aggressive. My numbers would be tight aggressive. This guy would be orange. So there's nobody that's a maniac at these tables. He's the closest thing to it. 35 and over, I make them purple, which is like loose, wide, aggressive. Yeah, I mean, yeah, guys, that's it, man. That's it. I killed it. You guys need anything, you let me know. I'm gonna get out of here. I think I'm gonna go take a shower, shave, eat, and sit down and play a little bit. All right, guys. Love you guys. Thank you so much. You take care. Anybody else? Nobody else whispered me. Anybody else that wants to be the shark mindset or wants to evolve with it, let's do it. MGP, I want to get onto a call with you. We don't have to do it live stream or anything like that. I want to get on a call with you, dude. Whisper me, please. Shoot me a whisper. Shoot me your number. And we'll talk back. I have Discord, and yeah, I'd love to Discord with you. Where is it? I have Discord. What is your name on Discord? Mine is Zach the Tiburon Marcy. Shit, what just happened? Are you Mr. Golden Pair? Let's see. Let me know you got that. Dave, I would like to actually have a conversation with you about. Is that you? Okay, cool. Dave, I'd like to have a conversation with you about improving the stream. Dave, you are like hands down my favorite. You get so engaged. You got stupid, dude. You did not just. You aren't getting away with that, dude. Bro, that's what MGP just sent me. Can you guys see that? You fucking nut. You nut. Oh man, you nut. From knit to crusher, man. And the changes that you've made are the same changes that I would like to make as well, and would appreciate talking with you about them. And Dave, you are hands down one of my favorite. Like, all around nice guy, very engaging. Like, you got like show tunes and cringy music and cringy stuff, and I love your stream, dude. I'm in your thing. Dave, I actually have your telephone number, dude. Yeah. All right, guys. Be the shark, not the fish. May all of your big hands hold, and all of your bluffs get through. This one was very long. This one was super long. What would I do different? Stupid, man. Too much The Office, man. We said that's what she said. It's too much growing up. I can't bring myself to do it anymore with 3 daughters and a wife. Yeah, guys. What would I do different? What would I do different if I had to do this all over again? What can we take away? What can we learn from this last session and these last few days? I have 2 ex-wives and a current wife, and I have 3 daughters and a son. My son's fucking nut job. I gotta go pick him up here too. We're gonna go grab something to eat. He's gonna have his first wrestling tournament. That's weird, man. My face is showing like it's off center because I'm not centered. Yeah, that's my brain's not reconciling with this at all. Okay. See, that's fucked up, man. You caught me on a call out, and everything I just said is actually true. I'm on my 3rd marriage, and one of them supported me playing poker because I was professional at the time, and I brought home money off of it, and then the other one didn't support me. Actually, we even took vacations and shit off of it. And then the other one didn't support me at all because it took time away from us and my newborn, but I was printing money left and right. And this one doesn't really have a choice. We've gotten to a point where I support and love the things that she does. She does the same thing with me, and just make sure I get back into it. What would I do different in these sessions and with this tournament? Honestly, outside of this bust out hand, I felt like I played real well. And by the way, I actually got down into, we were on the money bubble of the Stallion too. And, oh my God, dude. In the Stallion, I wound up, I 3-bet jammed queens. No. I 2x'd, and I got jammed on by Eamon89, who had 9s. That's not what happened. I was in the small blind. He was on the button. He min raised with nines. I went 5x, which is standard. It's okay to 3-bet to 5x when somebody raises 2x. Folded out the big blind, and he turns around and jams nines on. We were 6 or 7 people from the money, if I'm not mistaken. I actually don't remember. It was so fucking late. He spiked a fucking 9, and queens go down in disaster. And man, I think 3rd or 4th in chips, and I was out a couple of hands later jamming ace rag suited with 6 big blinds into nothing. I don't even remember. Anyway, a lot of my play I stand by. Bet sizing needs to be a little more solid. Understanding of where my mindset is at all times needs to go, and understand you don't always have to be table captain and play with like big play syndrome, but you do need to put pressure on people, and you can do that without costing yourself your tournament life. And that is something I can take away from this. Getting bet sizing on better point, getting emotionally connected back to being the shark, and doing it in phases where I'm making better decisions over the course of time. And this one, probably the single most important, is not trying to be table captain always, but making the most ideal play for the situation that also doesn't cost me my tournament life. I don't mind getting out of line. I don't mind the line that I took. I do mind that it cost me such a result, and I didn't control the way that I went about it. There are sometimes that so many of the players I talk to, like I've been talking to P Mill. You can see him. He's probably still here. Josh and I text back and forth, and he's being real passive, especially with things like jacks. And like, being fearful is just as big of a mistake, if not a bigger mistake, than being aggressive. But you have to find the balance of both, and I need to do just that. All right, guys, take care. I'm gonna reach out to who I need to reach out to. Love you guys, and you guys need anything, you let me know. Talk soon.